Holy fucking shit, that was beautiful, Doc. Oh, I've been IRLing and then basically uh relieving some of my frustrations when it comes to some regular life bullshit on the interwebs. Well, let me clarify. Not even my regular life bullshit. Like my regular life bullshit is, actually not that bad. But other people's regular life bullshit that I've been trying to help them with is apparently all different kinds of shitstorms. And I've been playing therapist all day. Mm. Well, before we do that, let's say hi to the chat. Hi everybody. Well, who's in the chat, and to the other people watching and not saying anything, hi to you as well. Not that not as far as I'm aware. Gio's saying you're muted, and Chuck is saying that they cannot hear you. But well, redo your intro then. I really liked it. I really liked it. Oh, Sparky just hit me up saying you are muted, which is weird because I can still hear you. All right. Well, here, he had said, morning Geo and Joker and Rose Dower and Patrice and Jacob, Chuck. I'm saying hi on behalf of Doc until we can figure out what's going on with his mic. And once you guys can hear him, if you'd be so kind to just go ahead and like push a one in the chat or something, we would appreciate it. And also smash that like button while you're at it. Hey, Sisyphus, Doc is here. He is. He's just having some microphone issues apparently. And it could have been the same thing that happened with me earlier when I was talking to you, Doc, except you couldn't hear me while I, on the other hand, or at least say something, Doc. Like there's nothing, no movement, like it's not reading you at all. Shit. So he's looking at the auxiliary on his mic on the OBS, and it's not moving at all. I figured I'd try and keep y'all updated, so you understand why. We know, you know what, John Doe, if you got some ideas, you can always, I don't know, help instead of just insulting, you snarky asshole. By the way, I really like this new setup, Doc, with the little sparklies in the background. I like it. I wish there were more, like cause the the screen overtakes the one that plays all the gifts. It's overtaking it. I want more. Sparky or John Doe, if either of you know how to fix it, check the mic in the hangout. No, the mic in the hangout is fine. I can hear him. I can hear him just fine. There's gremlins in the booth with Doc. You're right, Geo. And I'm the most evil one of all because I might as well be a gremlin. I'm all short. I can hear him, Sisyphus. Whenever he says something, I can hear him. Um, it's, he's literally looking at the mic output on the OBS and it's dead. And he's got it cranked all the way up. Geo, you can't just kick routers. It's not a router issue. It's it's just the OBS, it seems. What did I do, Metaphors? Sparky is saying to link either him or John. I would say, well, John, you got a thing because I know Sparky vouched for you real good. And yeah, no. Sisyphus, he's saying he is not muted on OBS. Fail of the mic driver. Well, uh, if it check the OBS settings and make sure the microphone is selected. That's what John is saying right now. And then Gio's like, plug, unplug. I don't know what the mic driver is, so I don't know what, like, if that's a hardware issue. I'm pretty sure you're not having hardware issues. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to hear you at all, Doc.
Meow, people. Tommy, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Tommy,
Wait.
can you hear me?
Papa, can you hear me?
I was going Who. I wasn't going Streisand.
I don't know. Check the OBS. Make sure the right mic is inputted on the source.
Oh, I got your right. I got your right mic, Sisyphus. I got that right mic hanging.
Oh,
because I know you can hear me. Me and Sisyphus talk more shit than that behind the scenes. So
Jacob's like, stop doing ASMR, Doc Griffin.
And I will, I will quickly do the good morning to everyone. Good morning, Geo. Good morning, Joker. Good morning, Rosedower. Good morning, Patrice. Good morning, Chuck. Good morning, Jacob Gulf City Navo. Good morning, Sparky. John Doe, good morning. And good morning, Sisyphus. And Metaphors. Okay.
And Gulf City Cult of Krill, good morning.
Good morning, Cult of Krill. So should I do the quote again?
I really liked that quote.
Which one? The first one or the second one?
The first one.
Okay.
Mostly because like the first one definitely fits with a lot of the shit I've been dealing with. The second one, not too much.
Not so much so.
I mean, maybe for you.
Here's a nice quote by some guy who I really can't pronounce his name, so I'll call him Anonymous. Fake friends. Those who only drill holes under your boat to get it leaking. Those who discredit your ambitions and those who pretend they love you. but behind their backs, they know they are in to destroy your legacies.
I fucking love it. It really fucking fits with my day to day.
Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy.
It's so deep. I mean, what?
Hmm. No, no, an actual deep thought by Jack Handy would be, it would be a sad time. It is a sad time in these modern days when the modern American family can be torn apart by something as simple as a pack of wild dogs.
So, how is your they got to hear me bitch slightly about my day. How's your day?
Mm. Uh, Today was a sample poo poo platter. Um, and I was being Smokey Bear, pretty much being helpful as much as I could and trying to put out fires other places. Um, a uh, uh, Last night apparently started a lot of shit rolling, so I put out a fire last night. Apparently, I hurt somebody's feelings at the same time when I was doing jokes. And then someone else was basically spouting shit, trying to drive a wedge um, into an internet friendship that I have formed and that I like. And haters gonna hate, taters gonna tate. Um, most of the issues they can go fuck off sideways. But I did get to Boy Scout today. I got to be helpful. Um, oh, oh, that's cool. Cult of Krill is pricing out headsets.
Nice. And hi, Big Fat Brian.
Big Fat Brian, yo. By the way, you were tight last night, Big Fat Brian. I just came in to stop the shit before it even started between me and Geek Thulu. And man, you got those good Geraldo probing questions in on him. I think you might have rocked him just a little bit, which is kind of fun to see. I always like to see people confident, but never high and mighty, and telling people that they don't know shit, and when the whole internet is a lot of shit. So why wouldn't we know it? Let's see here.
We love you too, Cult of Krill. Blah, blah, blah.
Why did I just put the stream key in? Brian, I'm trying to copy a link so I can send it to you if y'all want to come in.
Yeah.
There it is. And how does this machine work again? God damn you. Curse
See, so
you.
most of your issues were mainly internet drama, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty much BTS except for I was sitting there working on the OBS for this stream, trying to get it together, and then somebody sent Trippy sent me out a link to come on to TrippyCast, and I'm like, appreciate it, kind of busy, but I did go ahead. I wasn't actually like really listening. I had it bookmarked to pull it up when I needed to take a brain break, and somebody DM'd me and said, "Hey man, they're starting to talk about you." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you got my curiosity." And Geek was talking about how I was trashing him on other on other streams or somewhere on Twitter. He couldn't quite remember what it was, and I was like, so I came on, and I'm just like, dude, I don't have any problem with you. I did some graphics for you. You didn't seem to like them. we didn't have much contact, and so I figured that was the end of that. So, you know, no, there's really no heat here. There's no story. I mean, it's not like he was paying me or anything, and shirked a payment. But then, you know, Big Fat Brian comes in with fucking guns blazing. And, you know, Big Fat Brian's got that sly way to slide up on you. And,
Oh, he doesn't do the whole cadunt like just straight up snap rage.
well, he leads into it. Um, uh, I would have given him high marks if he would have been my one of my debate students. Because you know, he kind of, you know, put the rope out there and see if anybody's willing to hang themselves. Oh, good morning, William. Good morning, Godbotherer.
Hi, William. Hi, Godfather. And let me guess, Godfather, you want cupcakes?
Wait a minute, Sisyphus, what are you talking about? When and where and who did this happen? Um, that's pretty much the whole story between me and Geek. Um, that uh, he was getting ready to start a show with Failure and Big Fat Brian, and I just did some background mock-ups for him. That was it. I did background mock-ups, and I sent him over, and he basically kind of said, "Well, these are okay." And I'm like, "Well, you know, for free, they're good. Let's just upgrade it to that." And
Mm.
he took them. I never heard anything from him after that. So I figured he wasn't going to use them. I never saw the show actually happen though. And Big Fat Brian came in and gave kind of a nice explanation of what actually happened. That was the back end that I didn't know. But then once again, we were dealing in the land of Nunya. You know, because technically that was really none of my business. I just basically volunteered to throw some graphics his way to kind of help out the show. Uh,
Why, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Brian.
How's it going?
That's
It's
good. It's going good, I think.
it's going.
Yeah, it's definitely a going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
I
has been a
I did
day.
want to say that yeah, the way that you slid into that conversation was very admirable.
Well, I mean, I eh, it is what it is. You know, I the only reason I even hopped on was because I had just got home actually, and you know I open up a stream and I'm like, wait, did he? That's not true at all. I was there. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and I mean, he was. I flipped it on, and he was like, "Yeah, apparently he was trash talking me and some other streamer." I'm like, "Well, whoa, wait, no." And now here's the ironic part. I've had people come to me, different people come to me and go, "Listen, we're going to talk about Geek Thulu tonight. Why don't you come on
Yeah,
and tell your story?" And I'm like, "You know what, Nunya."
yeah, pass. Like I first of all, I don't normally do the drama stuff. Clearly, I mostly do cooking based stuff. And you know, ridiculous stories. Um but you know, that was one of those things where I'm like, no, 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 no. I was there and this like directly involves me. That's incorrect, you know? Um so I mean really like I said, I don't like to do the drama thing. That's not my thing. I like to do you know shitty cooking videos and you know make fun of people's shitty videos.
They're not they're not shitty cooking videos. I enjoy them.
Oh well, thank you.
And I know before he leaves, there will be a link drop. So, all you dozen or so people who have not yet subscribed to Big Fat Brian, you better do so.
Oh, before I leave, don't you mean during the entire time I'm here? Because I'm a shill whore.
Oh,
God.
Well, then by all means,
Yeah, here we go.
bomb that link. While I say good morning to Eric.
Hi, Eric. Yeah, while you're bombing the link, ah, just drama. I don't, I don't understand. I don't, I could never understand it.
Well,
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 okay, don't, let me, let me correct myself. I can totally understand it because there are times where I'm just like, you know what, fuck it, let's burn this bitch to the ground.
well, it's just like last night.
Mhm.
It was so funny because I was talking and I was like, "Yeah, geek, and you might want to ask that partner of yours why the fuck he banned me on Twitter. What he blocked me on Twitter." And all of a sudden, I see Worski's icon pop up in the Hangout, and I just went, "Worski, why the fuck did you block me on
Mm.
Twitter?" And people are like, "What are you talking about, dude?" And it's like he's here in the Google chat right now, and everybody's like, "Oh, hi Andy, hi Andy," and I was like, "No,
Yeah.
what?" He's I don't know, dude. I don't know why I blocked you.
Well, I mean, like I got blocked by him for being in a screenshot.
How dare you?
Wait a
I
minute.
know.
Wait a
I
minute.
was in somebody's VC and I got screenshotted there, and then all of a sudden, I go on Twitter and I see that people are retweeting something and it's like messed up, and I'm like, what the hell? And somebody's like, oh, check to make sure you didn't get blocked by Worski, and I'm like, why would he block me? Like what did I do? So I go and I look at and sure enough, there I am, I'm blocked. But I really don't care because I mean, the guy doesn't want to see what I got to say. He is irrelevant to me.
You can't
So
you can't force the fit.
yeah, exactly.
Uh, and yeah, that's the one thing that I haven't worried about. I mean, I've said it more than once. I'm just an interviewer, you know. Uh, I got worse problems at home. I don't need to grab the spoon and start stirring shit on fake life on the interwebs.
And I am just a humble condom wine salesman.
Condom wine salesman. Hmm.
Yeah, that's
Condom wine salesman?
yeah. That's what my last video was. I made condom wine.
Go. That sounds. I didn't see that one. That sounds like the making of Pruno, though.
Yeah, I sorta. I used Arizona iced tea to make wine essentially out of basic things that you can use at home. Like you wouldn't have to go get wine yeast or anything. Literally, if you have a condom, a bottle of Arizona iced tea, and bread yeast, then you've already got the makings to make your own.
Well,
Uh,
here's a fun and really disgusting question for you.
Sure, what's up?
do
Have you
not do
heard of
chick yeast.
vaginal yeast
Oh,
farting?
I knew you were gonna do it.
I have. I actually have, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong with that. For instance, I don't know how you're supposed to culture your vaginal yeast without getting other bacteria in it. So I imagine that smells like a hot fart when you open it up, and is probably got some definite sour notes, if
Uh,
not tuna notes.
oh,
Oof.
oh, tuna beer. Oh,
Ugh.
just
Actually, I might try and make
oh.
Oh, oh,
that.
oh, wait. But whose yeast?
I've got a girlfriend.
I was gonna say, are you volunteering, Cadet?
We can. Oh
No.
God.
Oh
I'm,
gods,
I'm
no.
not gonna
Y'all don't need
carry.
it to taste like MSG.
Yeah. Please don't send me a vial of vag juice.
Oh,
I
hey,
want you all to
I
know we're terrible people.
I have to congratulate Sisyphus. He is now the leader of the anime mafia.
Oh,
Oh snap!
congratulations, Sisyphus. I have no idea what that means, but congratulations.
And William Stenchover apparently is now worshiping Geek Thulu because he said Geek Thulu is God.
Oh god.
Now he might be confusing that with the flying spaghetti monster.
Possible. I mean, it's William, so he gets confused.
Oh, Eric, no. Minstrel clot pudding? No, not on the menu. It,
Oh,
That's
guys, I could tell you about some really nasty shit.
um, um, no?
Okay.
yeah. I was enjoying this homemade rye bread with sliced Gouda and dabbing it into some balsamic vinegar, but now it's got a yeasty sour flavor, and I just can't do it anymore. It's ruined. You've ruined it for me.
It's
You're
weird.
welcome.
It's weird how the internet not only can sour friendships, but bread as well.
Yeah.
Ba-dum.
That's
It's
Yeah.
like
amazing.
magic.
Have a very good night, Sparky.
Later,
Nice work.
Sparky.
Yeah, tonight I was feeling incredibly lazy, so I took onion bread and turned it into cheesy garlic bread.
Hey, that works.
Well, wifey kind of likes the cheesy breads for some reason, and when she takes those that battery of pills that she takes, she gets the munchies.
I get those too, but not from pills.
Well, I can't wait until they figure out the catch 22 here in my state to make it legal because my doctor's already said, "Oh yeah, I'll sign you off on it." And it's,
For medical,
yeah,
you should be. I'm pretty sure all states have medical now.
well, here's the catch 22. How they passed the legalization was it is legal for medical professionals to prescribe it. However, the only place that you're allowed to have it, because you're technically not allowed to grow it, and it cannot cross state lines. So it has to be grown within the state. But when we did the vote, we shut down the people who wanted to make it legal because how they had it worded, they were using spooky language, and essentially what they wanted you to do was to vote for an oligarchy, basically five guys that would control all the growing and distribution in the state of Ohio.
I
And
see.
we caught on to that early and shut it the fuck down. So we catch 22'd ourselves. Medical is legal, but we can't get it anywhere.
Well, it sounds like. Oh, sorry. It sounds like it's time for you to get a storage container and a backhoe.
And I have relatives who live in Colorado that are like, yeah, send us some money and we'll visit you.
Nice.
We'll stop up and put you out for the night. And I was like, until it's legal, to where the doctor can actually say, yeah, here's your prescription, then I'm just not going to risk it because right now I'm doing the whole going through disability. And last thing I need to do is have them pull a punk card on me
Oh yeah.
and do a drug test. Well, I mean, I'll
Wait,
pass one now, but
they drug test for disability in your state?
they certainly can if it is requested. We're going federal with it because they turned us down in district. So the next available step is federal, and
That's ridiculous.
they're just gonna keep fighting me and fighting me. Dude, I've been doing it for 4 years, so I can't get depressed over it anymore. It's all it's a grudge fuck at this point. I will bend them over the bench and have my way with them eventually.
Well, hopefully sooner than later.
And then I'll go smoke some pot afterwards. Accidentally. Actually, I'm still on the elusive hunt to find some decent hallucinogens
I
because
mean,
because I
whippets are always fun, I guess.
uh well, okay, I don't know if you guys remember this. This might be too boomer. Back in the day, they used to have something called locker room, and what it was a deodorizer. And if you actually huffed it, it would give you like a head buzz for about a minute. And then when it died down, it was like somebody punching you in the back of the head.
Oh wow.
It was kind of like a retard's version of a whippet. Although, oh man, the worst thing that I've ever seen. This still makes me cringe when I think about it. Uh, those of you who have ever gone out and done whippets, you know you need the cylinder.
A cracker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to have one of those. Well, um, the guy broke it. So what he did was he punched a hole, and then he had the canister in front of him. He's like, "Oh, I got this." He put on like a winter glove, so his hands didn't freeze. But the dumbass was blowing this straight into his mouth, and I watched his two front teeth freeze and shatter.
Jesus.
And
Oh.
oh, I still go all cringe with it now. I'm like, oh man, that's just fuckery. Um, but you know, his parents were rich, so they afforded him new teeth.
You thieves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we used to do the whole thing where everybody got their own balloon, and it was always the punch balloons because they were thicker. The ones you could use as like punching balloons that had a little rope on the end of it.
Yeah.
We always used to use those. Everybody would fill up their own, and then you know we'd breathe in together. We'd have a group breathe in. My favorite was the people who would breathe in as much as they could, and then try to blow it back into the balloon. Like they were going to get an extra buzz off of it by exhaling it back and then breathing it back in.
I
I
mean, I guess that would be the buzz of lack of oxygen there.
Oh yeah, as kids, we used to do stupid things like the pass out game. I don't know if you guys ever tried this at home, but if you got friends, go ahead and try it, but not when people are drinking. You have somebody lean against the wall and take a big breath. At the same time, you
Oh
have
no.
somebody lean into you with both hands on your sternum.
Yeah. Didn't somebody some like 14-year-old girl died from that or something?
I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past it because you know, you definitively knocked the motherfucker out. It's just like how we used to run up on people and put them in the sleeper. And people who think the sleeper doesn't work, you're fucked in the head. You will choke out in under 30 seconds. But yeah, I mean, because once you pass out, I mean, you fucking ragdoll. And there has to be somebody there to catch you, or you know, you're slamming your head on the floor. There's the infamous one from Richard Belzer's show back in the '70s, where Hulk Hogan put him in the sleeper, and
Yeah.
he actually put him in a front face lock, which is kind of like the sleeper because it knocks your carotid. And Belzer went out, and he hit the floor and busted his fucking head open live on TV.
Wow.
It was a
Uh,
beautiful thing.
yeah, so a South Carolina boy died after playing the pass out game. Uh,
Yeah.
age 11, Devorius Gray,
Poor
also,
bastard.
also known as Chi Chi.
Al- Also known as Chi Chi the X. Good God.
Rip. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean,
I used to love playing that game. And by playing that game, one of my friends knew how to put people in the sleeper hold, and I would ask them to do it.
it's a weird experience. My older brother is like 4 years older than me. I was his favorite practice dummy. So I had to be on alert. Now, he could beat the shit out of me all he wanted to, but any of the neighborhood kids try to roll up on me, and he's, ultimate protector.
Hmm.
But yeah, a lot of my interesting scars came from him.
Hi, Malachi.
Good morning, Malachi.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, me. I don't know. It was a weird thing. Uh, but it was one of those trips because like this was back before, I had ever tried drugs. I was such a like other than alcohol, I was such a straight edge kid, you know. Like I'd been very sheltered, and I was one of those who was like very, like don't smoke and don't do drugs, blah 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 blah.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that you would have dated Jeff Holiday back when he was a Sharps?
I have no idea what that is.
A Sharp?
Yeah.
Skinheads against racial prejudice.
Um.
Ugh.
I I don't know. I don't think so. Like I was.
And most of them were, well, I guess the term back then would be incel, but they were straight edge too.
I mean, it just sounds so fart huffy, you know? Like,
Well, for me, it was one of those things where like it was only when I was in high school. As soon as I hit like 19, um, well, I tried drugs, and alcohol was still my favorite, as well as popping any and all pills that I could get my hands on. And what's it? When I was about 18, almost 19, I tried weed and shrooms. The shrooms was a really bad trip, but the weed was a really weird trip. This was before I found out that it has a far adverse effect on me than it does towards most people. Um,
See, some people call that adverse, but most of us call it bonus.
exactly. Exactly.
I mean, once you figure out how to travel in between dimensions and you're doing it as you're sitting there on a couch, you know,
Um,
easy. It's easy.
I've done it on a couch once or twice.
Yeah. One time I was at a party and I was standing next to the bathroom across, if you were to say the bathroom would be in the back of the room, and all of a sudden I ended up on the other side of the crowd, uh, facing towards the bathroom on the far side of the room. And I have no idea how I got there. It was great. It was like time travel too, because I blinked my eyes and it was just boom. Look at that, other side of the room facing the other way.
The only time that I ever hated doing that was when I woke up in the holding tank.
Oh God, yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah, I hadn't done anything wrong, but apparently I was incredibly intoxicated. So that's where you end up with like four other guys in a room that just has benches, and most of them are passed out on the benches. Yeah, kind of like that baby that was just on screen. Just
Oh
take that
God.
header.
Nice.
By the
Yeah.
way, I did send you the link, Sisyphus. So if you want to trash talk, then you can come on in.
Are you telling me you literally became the image of that girl that sinks into the couch on the anti-smoking commercials?
I haven't seen that commercial.
Oh my god, you need to see it because it's great. It's like the greatest advertisement for why you should smoke weed, actually, because it pans out and it's this girl sitting on the couch and she's like CGI'd into a puddle version of herself on the couch, and then her sister's sitting next to her and she goes, Becky tried marijuana. And I'm sitting like, I want to melt into a couch. That'd be fucking awesome.
Can I have Becky's number? Because I want to get a hold of that dealer.
Right? That's straight up moon rock status. Come on now.
Is that is that filtering into the Becky let me smash thing?
I don't know. They were kids.
Oh, that would be bad. Well,
yeah, it would be bad.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this how it's such a catch-22 about, if you're 16 and they're 16, then it's not porn. But technically, if they're doing sexting, then that's child porn. But if it's between two kids, is it technically child porn?
At that point, it's called experimentation.
Yeah, I mean, we caught before the step kid decided that she was going to become transgender. There was a girl that, well, at the time, I guess I can say that he dated, and she sent him a bunch of titty pics. And we found his phone one day, and it was open to that. And it's like, oh, fuck, great. In my hand right now, I have child porn. And immediately we went to him and they're like, listen, erase this, erase it now. And it's like, well, it's just a joke. And it's like, yeah, well, the phone in your hands still is technically not prosecutable. You get a slap on the wrist or whatever, but in this house, if one of us ends up with that phone, we're in trouble.
Yikes.
So,
yeah. It's a fine line. It's one of those things, like, I'm pretty sure that as long as it's your phone or their phone and not yours,
I don't know. See, Eric, there's a couple different types of weed, and I can't tell you the specifics on it because I forgot. But I had a buddy who was a hydroponic kind of guy, and he's like, yeah, there's essentially two types of weed. There's the energy weed, and then there's the sleepy weed.
Yeah, sativa and indica.
Okay, I'll trust you. I forget.
And then there's like hybrids and, higher THC content, higher CBD content, higher. There's one more thing there that I'm forgetting.
Just higher.
No, THCA is, they have a newer designation now for one of the versions of, or I guess pieces of acid. I don't know how it works, but I know that they have 3 designations now, and
only thing my growing buddy told me is you harvest in the middle of the season, because usually it's at its peak. If you try to grow to get the biggest harvest possible, it's going to lose potency. So the smart people, well, before hydroponics and all this shit came in, the smart growers would grow for half a season, then pick, and then grow back at the end of the season. And they would, even though it's the exact same strain, they'd end up with 2 different types of pot.
Yeah. Well, that totally makes sense. Like vegetables have different textures and flavors when they're tender, when they're juvenile and not fully grown. Like, for instance, you don't sometimes, like with the smaller squash, you don't let those sit on the vine forever. You pick them before they get really fibrous.
Well, that's the reason why the only time I pick peppers is on a full moon, because they have actually proven that picking on a full moon increases the potency of the vegetable too.
Yeah, but because what if the full moon doesn't fall on when they're ripe, though?
Um, well, sometimes you got to fudge it a little bit, and besides, pepper plants are a fucking breeze
Yeah,
to
that's true.
grow.
They are.
I mean, you can be any measure of a internet autist and be able to grow them. The one that I want to try, I've got seeds coming. It's called lemon pepper, chili peppers.
Oh, that's cool.
Um,
So you're like a gardening enthusiast.
no, but I do like my own peppers. I do like growing my own peppers. That's the only thing. Well, and of course, since I'm a really lazy sod and I really can't garden, cherry tomatoes, because you can't fucking kill them.
Oh yeah, no cherry tomatoes. Those especially if you get a nice GMO breed, they'll just it's called what Big 100 is one of the best ones out there, and it'll produce like 500 cherry tomatoes within the first like budding on the plant, and then it'll produce around 1,000 by the end of the season.
Yeah, and they're just called lemon peppers. They probably have some other type of name. I think they're also called lemon drop peppers, but they have they're very hot. They're around God, I can't think of what it's hotter than a habanero. But it has a citrusy aftertaste to it, and
Oh, that's cool.
I would love to take that shit and make some pineapple salsa with that. Pineapple salsa. Now I'm
Yeah,
getting
that
hungry.
sounds great.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't. I can't get the people that I live with to try the pineapple salsa.
why not? It's kind of like mango salsa, but better.
Mm. Speaking of which, uh, I'm gonna have the Pepper Palace guys on either in January or February, and they're gonna send me out what they're calling a survival kit. They're gonna send
Oh,
me
dude.
they're gonna send me out like 4 or 5 peppers or 4 or 5 sauces to try out on. That's why I've got to get my live action doc gimmick up.
That
Um,
is awesome.
uh,
I'm jealous right now, man.
oh, but hey, the cool thing about it was I was like, well, what about that salsa stuff? And they make a mango and they make a pineapple, and
Well, well, speaking of your live action doc thing, um did you ever wear the mask for Halloween? Because I thought you were going to share that picture on the Twitters.
oh, well, I can. Well, it's not a complete costume because somebody pointed out I was wearing a Pikachu hoodie.
It wasn't a hoodie; it was just the shirt.
Well, yeah, I mean it was 50 cents, so fresh clothing.
Hey, that works.
So somewhere some fat kid is missing his long sleeve Pikachu shirt, and I am laughing in
That's
the
where my
corner.
Pikachu shirt went, you bastard.
uh, well, here because I don't remember what you called it, but it was an ingenious call on what we do here on the Twatters. Damn it,
What?
Kadan, what? Wasn't no explanation.
No context,
Yes, yes,
or context, stream context only, or something like that. It's something that had to do with context.
yeah. No context posting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Like you
Uh,
have to watch the stream to get the context for the posts.
And it's here somewhere. Uh, no, that's the one without the goggles on because I actually pulled a Zentai mask, which is
Yes, yeah,
just
I
a
remember you telling me about that.
yeah,
And did you ever
it's
get
just
the
a
mouth?
spandex mask.
Did you ever get the mouthpiece in? Like, did you ever get that?
No, we're trying to clear out a space because wifey wants to do it. She wants to sew because it's just going to be a buttonhole mouth. You know, essentially a buttonhole but elongated, so it doesn't cause the mask itself to fray. Um,
Hi, free speech.
we did think about that. Hey
Hey,
Brian,
fuckwad.
do you like wrestling at all?
Uh, I'm not a huge fan of wrestling actually. I used to be when I was a kid, a little bit, but not anymore.
Well, do you remember Abdullah the Butcher?
Not really, no.
Okay. Um, I just got contracted to do a wrestling poster for a local indie fed, and they're bringing him in, and
Oh, that's cool.
he's Larry's fucking old. That brother old. He's still in. He's in his either late 70s or early 80s, and he's technically not allowed to wrestle anymore. His gimmick used to be he would pull out a fork and cut people's heads open. And then they found out later on that he had Hep C.
Oh boy, yeah, that's all bad.
Yeah, that's very non-sexy. Oh, okay, there it is. So yeah, I guess this is leisure time, Doc. Or I'm going to go out and play Pokemon Go, Doc. There we go. And
I heard
yeah, yes, that's my shower curtain.
I heard they updated Pokemon Go to have more Pokemon in it. Is that true?
Well, I haven't been able to walk in a while.
Oh yikes!
So,
Yeah, forgot about that. Sorry.
no problem, man. I don't. I'll get back there, man. It's not going to keep me out. Free speech. Welcome, and have a wrench. Um, yeah, Geo. It's Wait a minute. Is this vape? Uh. Oh, thanks, Joker. Ah, well, vape. If I didn't think you'd be a douche and throw the hangout link all over the goddamn place, I would toss it to you. But I can't. I can talk to you behind the scenes, but I'm not throwing you a live link. I don't know if you can behave yourself. You've hung around SMG way too long. Although he is still one of my favorite people to bust balls on because he'll give it back as good as he gets.
Uh, Doc,
Yes.
phrasing.
What?
Phrasing.
Well, finish your cigarette and get back inside, girl.
No. Phrasing.
I know. I was trying. I was trying
No,
to go
I'm
past
not letting
that.
you get away with this, sir. You're talking about busting balls on SMG and then he can give it as good as he takes.
Yeah,
Phrasing.
that was Tobias Bluth status right there.
Hey, let's go to the film footage.
Ugh.
the one time that we need, hey man, nice shots, Troy Aikman quote, and he's not here. Hey, good morning, Buzz. Joke, I don't know if you're in the condition to deal with this insanity, but I kicked you the link too.
Yeah.
Actually, guys, I got to be quite honest. The edible is hitting me quite hard right now, so I think I'm going to hop off.
Oh, rubbing it in too.
Yeah, I know. I was not expecting this. This is I'm at least on 10 different levels of universe here. So I'm gonna hop off. Yeah, this is I'm pretty inoperable at this point.
Well,
Okay.
well, do you have the ability to throw the linkage a couple more times before you go?
Yeah, Mr. Shellhorn.
Yeah, sure. Let me see if I can operate this. One sec.
1,000. 2 1,000. 3 1,000.
Wait a minute. Sisyphus says he's going topless. Wait a minute. Did you change jobs? Because he's at work right now. So apparently he's become a stripper. I didn't know Indiana had such low standards.
There we go. I don't know how long that was. It was probably like 20 seconds.
It didn't seem like an eternity, though.
Okay, well, you guys have a nice day.
Thanks for coming on, Brian.
Hi, Doc.
Hey, good morning.
Morning to you. The voice is a little iffy.
Well,
It's okay.
No, it's mine's.
well, brother, you can wait for the meds to run their course.
You take care of you, Joker.
Yeah. It's I just wanted to let you know I appreciate you talking today. I didn't want to take my meds for mouth. It slows down my thinking, and I got to think straight with all the bullshit being thrown at me with this fucking guy. So I can't speak right, but I could think clearer. You know?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
We
brother.
gotcha.
And honestly, if you get up to speed, you can just hang out in the chat with us.
Yeah. But I wanted to let you know. Thank you. Just to let you know I appreciate you and Cadunt there a lot. Okay?
We appreciate you, Joker.
Well, all I gotta say is, brother, you got to work on that Andy Worski impression.
I gotta get it just right.
He almost sounds like a mix of Worski and Schmeckel right now. Oh shit, did I break you? I'm sorry, Joker. I'm sorry.
Good morning, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
I just brains, mouth not, but just this is me naturally without brain meds. So just so you know, Daddy's sad sack. He calls me. That's what I got from my little interactions with Rary last night. You don't know what kind of sad sack he's fucking with.
I,
Well,
I was glad I was away from that.
it's
I asked him to come on last night if he wanted to explain himself, and he said he was on a plane somewhere.
mm-hmm. It is always something. I mean, it's always something. It is what it is. It's okay. Um, I'll explain it. My thing I'm doing this weekend, and Grumble Snorts has a word or two for him, or actually a movement for him. I think he's going to put it to music. What's that song? Aria in Brown. So it might be a Grumble Snorts backside. So,
Yeah, it's
I'll talk to you later, brother. I'll be in the chat. So,
all right.
okay.
Cool.
Thanks for joining
Thanks
us,
for
Joe.
stopping by.
Good done. Keep it up. You're doing great, kid.
I'm trying. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And of course, since he's going to be in the chat, we are expecting him to throw a couple shill links in there.
You have to, Joker. It's required.
Yeah, that is what we's about. You know, I kept thinking about it. I've got like, well, wait a minute. Let me take a look. I've got it here in front of me. I have, you wouldn't believe the fucking spreadsheet that I've got for, for Doctor on Call. But I've got, let's see here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I'm up to 16 links. Anytime you go and watch Doctor on Call, always look down in the bottom part of the descriptor, you know, where it says more. Click on that, and you'll see 16 people that I recommend. But I mean, for God's sakes, man, this thing's going to be out of control. I still haven't put Moonifest Destiny in it yet. I'm trying to think. I also want to put in, even though he doesn't know me from Adam and like he needs the fucking subs, but John Ward. If you guys haven't watched John Ward, he is fucking hilarious, especially when he goes in on Don Lemon, because Don Lemon is a fucking idiot.
Hey, Doc.
Yes.
I wanted to give you small warning. My phone keeps kicking me off the Hangout randomly when certain things happen. So if you don't hear me, I'm gonna try and jump right back in. That's what I've been doing, but I figured I'd give you the warning just in case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joke, I'm not up to 8 TIAs yet.
Yet.
Well, I'm hoping that the damn blood clot's gonna finally be done with me. Last time I was in, they did the ultrasound on my leg, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there's still 4 big clots in here." And I'm like, "Can we do surgery or anything like that?" Nope. Have to work themselves out. They were trying to use blood thinners, but since I was using, like the diabetic needles. To deliver my insulin, it got to the point where they had me on I forget what the name of the blood thinner was, but they had me taking a copious amount of it, and I would basically stick myself, inject, and it would continue to bleed.
Oh God.
So, I had one of those septic sticks, where it makes it clot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's basically just like some weird form of grease pencil. So, it clog up the damn hole and then put a band-aid on it. So we had to kind of stop doing that.
Well, did it make you hemophiliac?
Technically, no. It just made my blood so thin because a hemophiliac is what is it? A lack of white blood cells. Um,
No, 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 no. I thought I may be mistaken, but I always thought that a hemophiliac was somebody who uh their red blood cells were, or their blood was so thinned out that like when they start to bleed, it doesn't stop, like it doesn't clot like it normally would.
you are correct, Eric. It is Coumadin. That's what they had me on. Um, it was like 1,000 milligrams, I think. Um, but well, fuck all that shit because. Oh, good morning, fright supremacist.
Hi, fried supremacist. Oh, that's another thing, Doc. I've been avoiding reopening up my YouTube app, so I can't see the chat.
Okay, well, take the steps that you need to take because without your dulcet tones, the show just isn't the show.
And it would just be, the normal show with your dulcet tones.
Yeah, it's I kind of like it because I initially started off ramble streams like on Saturdays and Sundays
Mm-hmm.
when there wasn't anybody broadcasting, and I was bored, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just jump on. Why not? I got the rig set up. You know, I had my $2 headset. So, I was rolling like a G. And yeah, you can tell the difference in the sound quality though now. Um, but yeah, I started it then, and it really was rambling. It was a shit ton of rambling. Free speech. I am vaping back and forth between the cigarettes because wifey doesn't get paid until uh, not this upcoming Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, and I'm gonna run out of tobacco before then, so I'm gonna be switching back and forth. There was a buddy of mine who owned a vape store, and I kind of helped him run it. I kind of helped him do his marketing, but unfortunately, when it came to the summer of this year, some asshole kids broke in and stole his entire inventory,
Oh, fuck.
and he did not have the money to replace it, nor did he have theft insurance. So, what he had left at home, um, well, they stole all the mods, they stole all the gear, and they pretty much, except for, it was so funny. I worked a deal with like one of the best vaping companies in the nation, and they stole all of those vapes, and they stole all the mods, but they left everything else alone. So he had a ton of coils and a ton of e-juice. And he was like, "So you're not vaping anymore?" And I was like, "Dude, the rig that I had, it lasted for a year, and I'm surprised that it lasted that long. I mean, it got abused." And he's like, "Well, fuck." So he shows up at my door 2 days later, and he's got he's got a new mod for me, and a fistful of coils, and a bag full of juice. And he's like, "Dude, don't let anything stop you." What are you guys doing?
Nothing.
She's meowing while she's licking the other cat. So it's like like a cat with aqua lung. Um, yeah, well, you guys, it could be that time of the morning where I can do impression time. Who is this?
Sounds like a dill.
Yep, it's the Full Metal Pickle. Um, oh, good morning, Nicholas. And
Hi, Nicholas.
no, I haven't seen that one yet, but I am looking forward to Eastwood's new film where he's like a drug mule. It's actually called The Mule, and he's an old man trying to get his life back on track because he's lost everything because he's old. And so he decides to start running drugs for a cartel.
Oh. He stars and directs in it?
Yep. Yeah, now Warner Brothers legit has gone ahead and said, whatever you want to film, Clint, go ahead. You're going to be dead soon. You've got your Oscars. And the shit that you crank out, people seem to want to come watch. So, yeah, I mean, he's got an open-ended contract. If he comes to Warner Brothers with a script, he gets an instant green light on it.
Nice.
Of course, they can't insure him because he's so old, so they don't know if he's going to die while doing the production. But I tell you what, man, that fucker's hickory. I mean, he's a tough son of a bitch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he's like the only other person I think that could probably beat him out would be Betty White.
Did you know that Betty White, when she was starting off her career, used to pose with nudie cuties?
That does not surprise me.
Well, you know what? I can post this on Twitter because they don't give a shit. If fucking Charlotte Sartre can lick a prolapsed anus, and that doesn't get taken down. Let's pull up.
I have seen plenty of stuff on Twitter that doesn't get taken down, and it's not even under like, because like I have it to where like all of my stuff is sensitive material or whatever, but that bullshit is just in case, like, cause like whatever cleavage and shit, and then I get to see like all the rest of this shit that gets posted, and it's not under like the same kind of fucking thing, and I'm just like, oh, well, I guess I don't even need to worry about that. But I wanted to be safe just in case, just in case someone decided to get a fucking stick up their ass and try and report any of my shit.
Well, apparently, she's got some raunch in her system. She was, even though she was playing the most clueless character on Golden Girls, she was the one who usually did all the cutting up. Okay, this is a picture that she took for a playing card, and I couldn't find one that didn't have the fucking watermark on it. So, apologies there. Fuck you, celebrity sleuth.
And it's time for another no context tweet.
I mean, I'm guessing that she didn't have a bad body. But yeah, there's more than one naked Betty White photo out there. And if Twitter gets on my ass, I'll be like, this is a learning experience.
Right?
These are what bodies used to look like back in the day. And here's one. Yes, she's so old that most of her pictures are in black and white, people. Just deal with it. But uh, I don't know if Vincent's in the chat, but he gave me a compliment on the on the Doc Griffin mask and glasses. But oh, it's not done yet. I've got the out of style 70s suit jacket. Well, more like an 80s suit jacket.
Your sweet chocolate.
And I found a really nice 1960s tie. And you know, like white shirts are hard to find. Um, I'm honestly just waiting for the gloves to come in, and I actually have to go to a store and find a whiskey glass.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, you know, when I drink my whiskey, it's normally in shots, or I've got a big mug of it mixed up. Because I always thought that whiskey glasses were a little bit artsy fartsy, because that begs for people to add ice to your fucking drink, and I hate people adding ice to my liquor. Now, I'll have, you know, an ice water. I'll have a water back setting up, but if I'm going to drink like whiskey or 80 proof or higher, then it's got to be neat. It's got to be straight up. Oh, what does wait a minute. Does Schmeckel have a fetish for Betty White?
Oh yeah, like that's a regular thing. That is a regular. So one of the things is he's always talking about like he just wants at least one date with Betty White.
Dude, okay. Um, can we get real here?
Hmm.
I don't necessarily like skinny women, but I'd bang Betty White. Because I got a feeling that her bag of tricks is more like a steamer trunk.
You know what's funny though? Looking at the black and white picture, like if she had just slightly more of an ass, she had the same body type I used to.
What and what are you proposing? Okay,
That
wait a minute. Here, let's do this. I will give you a Betty White ass shot. And that booty's not bad, especially that picture had to be done what, 1940s? Maybe 50s?
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure.
But
Yeah, still smaller than mine.
well, I'm not going to say that I don't like the booty, but you know, the twerking thing though, I just never really got. That's kind of a woman twerking is like a guy helicoptering.
I figured that'd be like the tit tassels thing.
Oh no, because you know. Then again, I'm not gonna say who sent me the goddamn video. You can probably figure out who did, but it was a guy with an incredibly hairy ass twerking.
That sounds almost like something a certain coon might send.
You would probably be right. Yeah, I mean, the shit that people send me, I would definitely say Ichabod's definitely on the top of the chain.
Yeah,
For
either
me going,
Ichabod or Trippy, because Trippy sends some. Actually, that sounds too tame.
no, he's probably the top of the list that sends me. Hey, look at this fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Which I certainly appreciate. Um, wait a minute, free speech. You braid your ass hair?
What?
Ooh. Now I don't know. Do you remember? I don't know if you do. Where like if there was a kid with hairy arms in school, you you made them or you had them put their arms together, and then you ran your hand in a circular motion very fast between their two arms, and it literally braided their hair and locked them up together.
I no, no, by the time I was in school, like um it was definitely one of those things where like if you had body hair, like you were ostracized really bad, but nobody really had much body hair
Oh,
because
woe is the junior.
of the ostracization.
Oh,
Blah.
oh, woe is the junior high school girl with a very distinctive treasure trail. Um, uh, fuckwad, I cannot say that it was you. The face was pixelated out, but not the ass cheeks. And that's all I got to say about that. Back to rolling a little bit here.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just hoping that I'm able to not drop because that would be nice.
Hey, let me ask you this: Have
Yeah.
you? Uh, do you have? Well, I guess you probably do. Have like bodegas around you? You know, like mini marts that like have cereal on the shelves that have been there for like 3 or 4 years. I mean, basically all they sell pretty much is beer and cigarettes.
Um, Probably not. None that I've been to though.
Well, the big thing around here now, it one of two things happens. If you make a purchase under $10, they charge you a service fee of $1. If you don't buy $10 or more. Have I?
Huh.
And the liquor store that we go to put a little spin on it. Um, you can buy as much liquor as you want, but if you're not using cash, they'll charge you $1. There's no set amount that you have to spend. You could buy $1,000 worth of liquor, and they're still going to hit you with that dollar fee.
That's odd. I've never experienced anything like that before.
Well, welcome to the Midwest. I mean, and I'm not being racist when I say Habib and friends, because there is a guy named Habib who owns a shit ton of bodegas around here and a hookah bar. But yeah, that um, I mean, I don't know if that's the same all around, but I mean, where I live, that's been instituted and popular for about 2 years now.
Hmm.
So they're making some extra money. The first time Habib pulled it on me, I was like, "What the hell? This is more than than what I'm buying." And he's like, "Oh well, we charge you an extra dollar." Why did you charge me an extra dollar? Because you did not buy enough. And I was like, dude, what if I only had like $8 and I spent $7.50? Oh, then the card would be rejected.
Uh,
It's like,
that,
oh, you're a dick. You know,
right?
you really need to tell people that up front, or put a sign in your goddamn window. Put it right at the door. So we can read that and make a decision whether or not we're going to purchase from you.
I
Oh,
mean, that's
well,
only
I'm
fair.
not forcing you to purchase. I'm like, yeah, you're forcing me to want to come over that fucking counter at you. I got a cane, motherfucker. I can reach you. And, if they have the bulletproof glass up, I can just stick that cane through the hole and try to poke his eye out. Old people can be dangerous.
Well, because they get tired of having to deal with bullshit.
Yeah, when you get to a certain age, you kind of figure, well, fuck. You know, it's not that I've seen it all and done it all, but I've seen enough and I've done enough to where it's like, yeah, fuck this. That's why old people get incredibly crotchety before they do the full circle and turn into little kids. Because my grandfather lived to like 93,
Mm-hmm.
and he was pretty much like a kid at the very end. Um,
That was my great grandma. But
yeah,
she was such a sweetheart though.
yeah, it was so weird um, that when I was doing the interview with Sean Cunningham, one of the big things is I really wanted to talk about his new film, which is The Nurse with the Purple Hair.
Yeah.
And it's about a hospice nurse. Well, my Irish twin sister is a hospice nurse. And she sent me a text before we got on air because she didn't know that I'm doing this internet thing. And so she sends it to me, and she's like, yeah, we moved mom into hospice, and we don't expect her to come out. And I'm like, is this serendipity? Just so weird that I'm talking about hospice as one of the main topics, and they finally put my mom into hospice that very day.
God, I can't even imagine.
Eric, the only thing that the Simpsons stereotype got wrong is usually Middle Eastern people will be like, "Hey, how are you, buddy? Hey, buddy, haven't seen you in a while." That they love the word buddy. Although it's so funny, one bodegas that I go into, these guys are normally on the phone all the goddamn time. Um, and he's just like, he's but oh, he knows someone oh, motherfucker. He's also thinking about someone on yeah hi. And it's like, wait a minute. I had to stop him and ask him. Wait a minute. Don't you have don't you have a word in your language for motherfucker? And he goes, oh yeah, we do, but motherfucker sounds better. I'm like, alrighty then. So it's fun to hear him when he gets into a phone shouting match with somebody because he's rambling off in his native tongue, and every curse word is English.
Oh, I remember a guy that my parents used to work with. He was native Spanish speaker, but every other I got to learn that the word pinche is basically fuck, because like my parents would talk about how this guy, he's always like pinche fucking, like
Pinche gringo.
Yeah, but he apparently had like a really weird mix of Spanglish.
Oh yeah, I think I said the story once. We had a Spanish foreign exchange student in our school, and she was amazed by hearing Hispanics talk. And the first thing she said is, "That's not Spanish." So I'm not being derogatory. I'm pulling from the source when I say that people who come up south from south of the border are speaking Mexican, because it's a bastardized version apparently.
Yeah.
Um, Fried supremacist. I rarely hear anybody calling me bro, but normally they call me bruh. Like if I'm out somewhere. Oh, bruh, you got a cigarette, bruh? I need to smoke. And that shit drives me insane. I mean, I do like BTS. I'll call people, brother or brother. That's kind of a wrestling thing that I got into. But yeah, bro, not so much. Bruh, yeah, I'm hating on it. Yeah,
Well,
now
not.
that I look at it more, Betty does have a nice booty. That's that's good Betty booty. Wait a minute. Okay, one more. And it's funny because now, if you think about it, the apparel that they wore back then also helped to contour their bodies. Let's see. Like, I'm sure that, corsets back in the Middle Ages,
Yeah.
contoured bodies. Okay, there's one more. And I think that one's a little more flattering of the Betty booty.
Yeah.
Now, put about 60 years on that, and that's what she looks like now.
Well, you never. Well, probably. Honestly, like the whole. Yeah. You still have to keep a certain shape and aesthetic is more modern day.
No, that they're saying that one was a. See, okay, come on, guys. You can tell what's a fucking Photoshop. I'm always surprised that people try to get because if you take a look at those pictures, those are legit. Those have been around for quite a while. As a matter of fact, do you remember Uhuru from Star Trek or Uhura? Yeah, one of those.
Uhura.
Um, she posed in men's magazines before she became famous.
Did you ever check the slab?
Um, was there a new name that rolled across?
No. Fright Supremacist is saying to check the slab.
Oh, okay.
I braved it. I haven't been kicked out in a while, so I figured I'd brave it and see.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch it. I was boner inspired, um, playing around with last night because I wanted to see something drop into the glass,
Yeah.
and
Hi, numbed.
the glass is still fucked.
Is it really?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, it does. It does the work when you do the sub thing, but that's about it. Oh wow. Wow. Thank you for the $10 donation, but wow. Thank you for the message. You don't know, but your streams help me get some distractions past weeks. As we said our last goodbye to the strongest man that I've ever known, the man I called my dad yesterday. Thank you, Doc and Kadun. Wow.
Oh wow.
That means a lot. That means a lot.
I'm really happy we were able to help with something like that.
Yeah, I know my dad passed in February, but yeah, this one coming up, this one's going to break me for a while because my dad was kind of an absentee. Um, I broke apart more when my grandfather died because he was my role model.
Yeah.
He was always around, but I mean, you really couldn't help but be happy for him because he made it to 93. He lived a great life. Um, but it's really hard in their especially like if they're in their 60s and 70s because you're kind of always thinking, well, can't you um well, can't you get to the part where you don't have a vibrant mind anymore, and then everybody's like, well, it's time for you to pass. But I know I've said this before. When it comes to our families, we are all a jealous bunch of bastards, and we are very selfish because we always want to keep them around because we love them. They're positive influence on us. You know, they're the people that we owe a debt of gratitude that can never be repaid because they're the ones that have shaped us, that have made us the people that we are. Good morning, Numbskull. Good morning, Hex.
Hi, Hex.
But yeah, thank you. Sorry for your loss, but I know one of the things that's always impacted me the most was a guy who wrote something, and I know I'm going to bastardize it. Um, uh, Even when someone dies, as long as they live in your heart, they become immortal. And I hope, and I hope there's quite a bit of immortality there, living in your heart.
See, I'm one of those people who I've yet to cry at a loss of someone. Mostly because the people that I've lost, like, the first thing that comes to my mind whenever I would think of them are the really good memories. And I think that's something that can be really important, you know,
Well,
because
yeah.
that means that they left me with some good. And I really hope that one of these, like, I hope that when I pass, it's the same thing for everybody who ever remembers me, is that they can't help but smile because the first thing that'll pop in their head is a really good memory.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I like how the Irish wake goes too, because it should be a party. It should be a celebration.
Yeah, I've always told everybody, like, when I die, I don't want a funeral. You're throwing me a goodbye party. And
Well,
the only reason why any of you are going to wear black, it's not going to be for mourning. It's going to be because it's just part of your aesthetic.
everybody has to wear a concert T-shirt.
They all have to dress up in nerd costumes, except for my one friend who has promised to dress as the Reaper. And then point at, like, one of my close friends and be like, "You're next." Like, I'm a terrible person. I have a horrendous sense of humor, and that's what I want. I want one of my friends to dress up as the Grim Reaper and just point at, like, a random person.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: the only time that I've ever shed um, tears at a death was when they were incredibly young. Um, I mourn for the loss of what they could have been. But
Yeah.
if they're old enough and they're most of the way through their life path, I'm there celebrating.
Yeah. Like it's definitely it's one of those things. And I'm really glad to know you're good now, supremacist.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you gotta. I mean, uh, my whole thing is I don't know how many funerals that you've been to, but now that I'm in my 50s, they're coming fast and furious. Like I've been a part of uh, 5 funerals in the past 2 years, and they were people that were close to me. Um, I've been to more funerals, but the ones that I actually count that were friends or close family. I was always the guy, and I still am to this day. I don't cry at either the viewing or the actual funeral itself. I'm the guy who gets cried on. I'm the shoulder,
Yeah.
and
That's always been me.
yeah, and I'm incredibly good with that role too, because it makes me feel good that I'm providing what people need. That I'm fulfilling this role and I take it on willingly. And because my Irish twin sister got on my ass once. Um, she was like, "Well, why aren't you crying? You need to cry." And I'm like, you know what? I'll cry, but I'll cry in my own way. I've got a job to do.
Yeah. You'll cry when it's time, when it's your time and your way to cry. That was always one of the things though, cause like what's it? My my grandpa, um, my one of my well, actually I think he was my kind of first boyfriend, kind of thing.
How old were you?
Like in high school, I was 14,
Okay.
and but he had passed away at 22 from leukemia, and then my late ex, and like I've never cried. And I actually had this pointed out to me by my baby sister, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm actually really good. Like like I'm thinking of all these happy memories and stuff like that." And she's like, "Are you a psychopath?" And I'm like, "Probably."
Shit.
because I've never cried, and like I have all these people who weep around me, or who are there like crying to me and stuff like that, and then I get them to laugh because I crack a joke. Like what's it I actually got this whole we were at the we'd spread his ashes of my late ex, and like I'm there with his family and like my sisters and a bunch of his friends and that were still my friends, and everyone's all being trying to be like they're all somber and melancholy, and then all of a sudden I start busting up laughing and they look, and I'm like, he would love this so much right now. You guys have no idea. Like he's like, yeah, look at you. This is all for me. And they start cracking up because they can see it, and I start like just describing like the likely look on his face, which would have been like this big shit-eating grin that he almost always got whenever, he's just like and I'm the one who got everybody to start smiling and laughing, and I'm like, all right, now, and I point at his mom, she was not a drinker in any way, shape, or form, but I point at his mom and I point at his aunt, and I pointed at his brothers, and I'm like, all right, now all of you need to take a shot of some E&J brandy, because that was his favorite. It was either that or SoCo, if not Jack. And at the moment we only had E&J. So they all took a shot, and like his mom starts gagging. Well, go get sleep, Metaphorist, and hi, everyday man. Um, but his mom starts
Uh,
gagging, and everyone starts laughing, and they're like, "Oh, we knew you would do that, and he would be so proud of you," and blah 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 blah. And it wound up turning into a really positive thing, but it really does have me worried. Like, if I don't, like, who would I cry if I lost?
what?
Like, who would I cry for if I ever lost them? And because I've never cried. Like, I've always been the one who winds up busting up laughing while everybody's like all somber and melancholy. And I'm the one who just starts laughing because I could see, like, the image of them, of the one who had passed, and it
Well,
makes me worried about myself.
I have a tendency to get irritated when loved ones die. Oh, good morning, everyday man.
Mm.
Um, because and I've not seen anybody be spared this curse of the hangers on to see what they're going to get when the person dies. Um, we just one quick story. When my grandmother died, my aunt and uncle immediately after the service went directly over to the house and started taking stuff. And me and my other uncle and my eldest brother walked in and said, listen, either there's going to be a beating going on or you guys are going to put all this shit back. And we kind of have that going on because my dad had a tendency to do restarts. He left my mom for another woman, raised a family for about 10 years, left her, and then was with another woman. Well, the last set of kids, some of them are kind of a problem because they were expecting some type of payout when my dad died. And I guess I should mention the fact that my mom and my dad divorced when I was very young. And then 21 years later, they remarried. So after my dad's third wife died, he remarried my mom. And so it's kind of a weird setup. But when my dad died, the stepbrothers and sisters were looking for the handout like right then and there. And my mom was like, "Listen, if there's something that you really like, that reminds you of your father, even though being a stepfather, but anyway, then you come to me, you let me know what it is, and I'll let you have it." And there's only one thing that, and I know this might sound weird, the only thing that I collect are power objects. Those things that remind me of them. Like one of my buddies who died. He always had this bullet keychain. And they were just like, hey, you want to go through the room? Do you want to, get something? And I was like, do you remember that bullet keychain that Greg used to carry around? They're like, oh, yeah. And I was like, can I have that? I mean, take the house keys off of it and everything. But can I have that bullet keychain? And they're like, oh, yeah. So when my mom came around to that, and I said, listen, there's only one thing that I'd really want because it's something that I remember him always having. He had a gold ring with a blue sapphire in it because he was born in December, so that's his birthstone.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very expensive ring, but it was something that his father gave to him as his 18th birthday, "You're a Man." And it's something he wore all through his life. He always wore it. I always remember him wearing it. And that's a power object. Because, if you have that a part of your life the whole time, then, like we were talking about, resonance,
Yeah.
crystals or stones, being able to maybe hold a little bit of the energy that passes from the body.
Mhm.
Like when my mom dies, and we've already talked about this, I get the mother's ring that I bought her. I guess this is kind of a cool story. I was trying to figure out what to buy her for Christmas, and I'm like 12 years old, right? So during the summertime, I cut grass, but you spend it as fast as you make it when you're that old. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to get for her, but I didn't have any money. And I thought it was kind of cheese, just to draw something or give them a book of coupons, that kind of bullshit. Um, so we went shopping at, the store doesn't matter. It's been closed for decades now. But we went shopping, going through the line, and I decided to buy I had like a quarter, so I bought a candy bar, I think. And as I was going through the line, I dropped the quarter, and when I went to pick it up, there was a roll of bills there. And I picked up the quarter with one hand, I picked up the roll of bills with the other, and just tucked it into my pocket because there wasn't anybody around.
Yep.
And it was $67.
Oh wow.
Now we're talking about we're talking about the 70s here, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money. And we went to a place called Best Products. Get cat. We went to a place called Best Products. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, but it was a mail order catalog. But they did have a brick and mortar store where you could actually go in, look at their catalog, order it. If they had it there in the back, instant gratification. But if not, you could order it right then and there because, internet, just just a twinkle in Al Gore's eye at that point. Um, and so I was in the jewelry aisle and I saw a mother's ring. And I'm like, that's so cool. Now, at the time, there were three of us kids. So it was December, January, December. So blue, red, blue. I love the symmetry of that. And so I decided while she was doing whatever she was doing, I would sneak away from mom. So I found out how much it was, and I put in the order for it. And it ended up to be $65 and change. And I was so proud when I bought that. And I had my uncle take me back to Best so I could pick it up. And I got it picked up. And when I brought it home, I showed it to the other kids, and they were kind of jealous. And I was like, well, let's just make it from all of us. It's an expensive gift. Put your name on it. So they did, and we gave it to her, and that was like her favorite piece of jewelry that she's ever had. And she wore the hell out of that thing until, because of what she's going through right now, her hands are swelling up. So she can't wear the ring anymore, and she pitched a fit and was crying when they were like, "We're just going to have to cut the ring off of you." And she's like, "You're not cutting this ring off. you know, go to the kitchen and get some bacon grease or something, but you're not cutting this ring off. And so it's sitting in her little jewelry box in the retirement community. And I said, listen, the only thing that I want is, can I have Dad's ring? And she's like, well, it's been promised to somebody else, but if they don't want it, you can have it. What do you want as a backup? And I was like, I don't need anything. I don't need anything as a backup. You know, what I remember, what makes me think of Dad is that ring. And it'll probably be adorned on my spirit staff. I got a staff that I made down in North Carolina. It's made out of corkscrew willow. And it's funny because it's straight. It's a straight piece of corkscrew willow. Because I saw the tree that it came off of, and I was like, oh, let's find something that's got swirlies or something to it, right? And there's this perfect piece. I mean, uh, yeah, it's just about 6 foot tall. And I shod the ends of it. I made the leather hand grip on it, and on that is hanging my true medicine bag and all the things that I've collected from all the people that have died, including I do have dog collars from my favorite puppies. But that staff is pretty goddamn powerful, just because of the memories that it contains. I can't summon lightning with it, but well, that'd be pretty fucking cool if I could. I would be all about that. Well, then again, I guess maybe maybe if I would have steel shot it, I could have made it into a lightning rod. And metaphor, I'm not retired. Mom said I'm with pension. So yeah, I guess my first wife was a real hippie chick. I mean, she was a librarian, and we kind of made it a point to have sex in every section of the library. I particularly enjoyed the nonfiction section.
I mean, not a bad gig, I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, putting books away, and then uh, her big thing was, she had the carte blanche to where, if they got in new books, she could grab and run away with them and read them first. I seem to hook up with chicks that like to read. If you had like one feature, what would you say that it was? Not what attracted you to them, but once you started dating and committed to them, that you found something that they did that you liked or admired, if that makes sense.
Nerds.
Yeah, but
My
what?
my very first boyfriend, like my first like actual real boyfriend, was, well, there's no other way to say it. He was a weeaboo. But he knew how to draw, and he had like all this knowledge about, anime stuff. And he was kind of geeky, kind of nerdy about it, kind of thing. My second, same general concept. He was kind of a weeaboo too, not so much as the first, but he had a lot of knowledge about like tech stuff. He was really good with that. Like it was and as well as video games too, like video games, anime, like that kind of thing. My third, um actually, he's probably the least nerdy one. He was really good about like mechanic stuff. Like he actually helped me hone a lot more of my, like, I knew the basics, but he helped me like I now know how to change out a manual transmission on my own.
No,
Well, not on my own. I definitely need some, some help
like
lifting and
tools, a
taking it
winch.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would definitely need some tools for that, but I know how to replace and do all that stuff, and um I even he and I changed the head gasket on my old
Oh,
Ford Ranchero.
um, fuckwad's bailing. So
Oh, later, fuckwad.
have a good morning, and get your goddamn mic fixed so we can get you on here once.
Yeah.
Um, uh, well, let me ask you this question:
Hmm.
Did you ever say to your first boyfriend, "Draw me like your French girls"?
I I did not, but he did draw me before.
Was it like a French girl? Did you get to wear the necklace?
No, the closest to anything like that, because he was the one that I'd lost my virginity to, was I I'd had his guitar covering me.
Okay.
Yeah. It was upside down, but yeah, I had his guitar covering me.
Black Cat, what? No, I don't care if you turn the per volume up. Go away. She she hopped on my lap and was like, "Well." Um, Fright Supremacist asked, how was Halloween? Um, for me, incredibly sedate. That's our as some of the people know in the chat, that was my 10th anniversary with Nurse Wicked,
Nums,
and
are you leaving too?
I don't know if he was saying later to fuckwad or not.
Huh. I wasn't sure either because he said it twice. That's why I was curious. Please continue. I apologize.
Well, um, so
Anniversary with Wicked.
I mean, we sure as shit didn't have the money to go out and do anything, so we were. I was talking about making a nice meal and just knocking boots a couple of times. Um, but her fibro flared up. Now, the one thing that irritates me is I've had conversations with people, and I've been I've been off my medication for the neuropathy and the diabetes and the insomnia for over a year now because of the fact they yanked my Medicaid. But she keeps doing the well, we need to get your pills. And I'm like, no, we need to get your pills because, she's the breadwinner at this point. So it's time for her to just take it to function. And the only way that she can function is through her meds. And I'm like, we're not spending a dime on my meds unless all of yours have been bought. And she came home just almost weeping tonight. She stopped by to pick up her medication. Now, here's how fuckered up that it's getting. The one that she was going to get was a red label. One of the ones where you got to show your ID at the pharmacy.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: when somebody writes a prescription, uh, it has to be cashed in within a certain amount of time. And she gave the prescription over to the pharmacy and said, "Don't fill this. Put it in the system and hold it." Well, they went ahead and filled it. And when you fill the prescription, especially if it's a red label, if it's a narcotic,
Yeah.
with the point when they fill the prescription, you've got 10 days to pick it up. If you don't pick it up, then it goes back, and you have to go back to your doctor and have it rewritten. Well, we're not going to have a paycheck until next week. And right now, and she didn't know it until she got to the pharmacy, that we're on day number 7. So she's fucked. And she's not going to be able to get that med. You know, we'll take care of it down the line. I'm just like, just call your doctor. This is not going to be a bad thing. You know, let him know what they did, and it'll get fixed. Good morning, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
But, you know, her meds come first. Because, you know, she's got it worse than I do. I mean, only thing I have is, like, you know, partial paralysis, for God's sake, and, you know, diabetic neuropathy. I've been dealing with that shit for about 10 years. Hey, Joker.
Hi, Joker.
And, you know, it's, you got to take care of the ones that you love. I think men have an inbred genetic disposition to where you will step in front of the bus to save the ones you love. Yeah, that's what I've got, Joker. I've got a PayPal business debit. Although I almost punched them in the head with the whole transferring of funds from my bank account that I used to download the GoFundMe. It was that one was fuckery. I'm sure there's a replay of that out there somewhere. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I want to do everything to not see her in pain, and I will lie to her openly. If she's like, oh, you know, are you doing okay? You know, and if I'm not doing okay, fuck it, I will lie. Because, like, I need to put more stress on her. I mean, she's doing the lion's share. So, you know, I got a partner. And, you know, I think that's what marriage is. That you find a partner who's, you know, going to be willing to share the good times and the bad. And, you know, we got to our 10th year. I'll be honest, I didn't know how long it was going to go. My first marriage lasted about 3 months before she started banging other guys.
Ugh.
But, you know, she was a whore. Or, as they say on the East Coast, she was a hooah.
She was a hooah, yeah.
She was a hooah.
I mean, did she get money out of it?
Huh?
Did she get money out of it?
Where the fuck was she gonna get money?
Oh, there's plenty of girls who will cheat for money.
Oh, no.
They're literal whores.
Well, there's a...
Or at least that's the excuse that they'll feed, you know?
Well,
and then there's a stupid little... There's the guys that'll stick with them.
Well, there's a very long story to that, but let me just encapsulate how it ended. Our divorce was granted. I actually was I was homeless through most of the year before the actual court date hit, and we went into the courthouse, and she was 6 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
With another guy's child. The divorce is granted. Everything was an amicable split, blah, blah, blah. We are walking out of the courthouse together. And her big statement to me was, you know, I'm sorry. I should have never tried to change you.
What?
And I just smiled. I patted her on the pregnant belly and I said, I just hope the sins of the parents never fall upon the children. And I walked away. That's the last time that I've seen her.
Never tried to change you. No, you shouldn't have spread your legs for another guy. Or guys. Like, I don't understand bitches that do, like, I don't know. I don't understand that shit. You know, and I never understood the guys that stay with the chicks who cheat. You know, like,
But I love her, man.
no, that's not, you know what? If you love her, guess what? Okay. Sad for you. She doesn't love you. She's proven that.
Oh, now, do you want to hear a real heartbreaker story?
Sure.
Okay. Um, when I was homeless, one of my buddies found out that I was on the streets. A couple months after I'd been on the streets, and it was pretty much winter. He came and got me, and gave me a place to sleep in his basement. And I got a job immediately because I had a residence.
Yeah.
And the job was canvassing door to door, getting people to give you money for some environmental cause that was bogus. So this was in the winter. I was going from door to door. I was freezing my balls off. I stopped at one of the neighborhood gas stations, and I was like, guy, I've been out canvassing all day. Is it cool if I just, stay in here and warm up? And he's like, oh, yeah, man, sure. Not a problem. So I'm like, can I smoke in here? And he's like, oh, man, you can smoke in the bay. So I kind of, I was sitting there just shooting the shit with him. The actual heat was there around the counter. And this car pulls up, and it looks like my wife's car. And I'm like, no, that can't be my wife's car. And sure enough, she gets out of the passenger side. This guy gets out of the driver's side. And he walks over, takes the nozzle off the gas handle, and she leans into him and gives him a big kiss. And then she starts walking towards the actual gas station to come inside to pay. So needless to say, I went, and one of the few times that I ever pussied out, I just went into the bay. I just went into the gas station bay and hid myself. And yeah, sure shit, it was her, and she didn't see me. And then when I heard the dingle of the walking back out through the door, I came back out, and the gas station guy was like, not for nothing, but what was that? And just as he was asking her that, she had gotten back to the car and had given him another big kiss as he was hanging up the gas pump, the nozzle.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was my wife. And the guy was like, fuck. And that was probably only one or two moments in my whole life that I ever had my heart completely shattered. Because I was talking to her on the phone, and she was like, yeah, let's just try to work this out. We've got some cooling off time, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I got a job, I'm working. And, yeah, just to see that, man, it just, you could hear the breaking of glass. That was my heart.
Yeah.
Too much?
No, no, it just, it's bringing up my own memories.
Yeah, I mean, I literally was in a daze after that, thinking, this isn't real. This is something I saw in a movie. Nothing in real life plays out like that. It's usually obscured. It happens in the shadows, and you always get told secondhand. Because I didn't know that she was with this guy.
Yeah. That was my late ex. I
Again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and OBS reconnected.
All right.
I'm getting the. Okay. I was getting the little spinning clock on the watch page, but it looks like everything's cool. Please
Oh,
proceed.
oh. He, like I'm cooking dinner or whatever one night, and he like comes back home late at night, and he has this chick with him, and we had like a pool table, like we had a bunch of like cool stuff that we'd been gifted and shit like that. Um, because like we got our own house and everybody was happy and like, oh, this could be the party house, and we are just like, ah, sure, whatever. And then I get to be the one to fucking clean up in the morning and shit like that, but it didn't matter. um but he brought this chick over and he's like, oh yeah, this is one of my friends. I'm like, oh, are the rest of the people coming? And he's like, yeah, they'll be here late. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna, like, I got the beers in the fridge for you, and they're chilling and doing all this stuff and blah 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 blah. I'm just trying to be nice, and and I go to check on something. I don't know. I left the room and I came back, and he's basically like rubbing up behind her at the pool table, and I'm just like, hey, and you know they jump apart, and he's like, hey, yeah, I'm trying to teach her how to play pool. I'm like, oh, you've never played pool before? Here, I'll play with you if you want. Like, I was either really really dumb, or just at this point I just didn't really care.
Was he
But
was he going for the threesome?
he no, he never brought up the idea of a threesome to me. That's the funny thing. Like, and at that point, like, I was just like, oh yeah, I think I'm bi, you know. And
Well, yeah, because
I don't know.
with my first wife, she liked threesomes with other chicks.
Mm-hmm.
She was a fan of that. I can't say I wasn't a fan of that because the, you live your life when you're young vicariously through girly magazines and beta and VHS porns, and then when it happens in real life, you're like, damn, yeah.
Actually, he was the one that he and I weren't together at the time, but we'd had a threesome um with another chick, because again, like, it took me a long time to realize I wasn't bi. I actually took that moment, um but no, at that point in time, he wasn't looking for a threesome. He didn't ask me for a threesome. He was whatever. And then I don't know, we played around the pool, and he's like, oh, we're getting a little low on beer. I've been drinking too much. Will you go and pick up more? I'm like, yeah, yeah. And he's like, yeah, because the other people should be arriving anytime soon. I'm like, sure, why not? And I come back, and you know they're making out, and I'm just like, ah, of course, because I'm a fucking idiot. Not only are they making out, they're making out in my bedroom on my
Oh,
fucking
come on
bed.
now.
Yeah, because like I come back, I'm like, there's no other people here. Where the fuck are they? Hey, where'd you go? And like, where's everybody at? And I go over to the bedroom, and they're basically like right fucking there.
Oh,
And
almost getting ready.
yeah, no, well, they were they were just like, they just had a couple articles of clothing left to remove. Like he basically like had his pants he needed to get off, and she just had like her bra and panties that she needed to get off. But yeah,
Well, that's not what they were going to get off.
nah, it was each other that they were planning.
Yeah.
But he got mad at me for that. He got mad at me.
Well, yeah, of course he did, because it's one of those things where you're fucking flat out busted. So the only thing you can do is turn it into anger, and you're griefing on the person who is in the right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, it's
Okay, so shall we bring the room up just a little bit?
yeah, yeah, we can do that for
Okay.
sure.
Well, I do have one sex story, because I've
Oh.
only ever had sex once in my whole life. Um, when I was in, it had to be high school. It was either we just transitioned from junior high school to high school, or just before, and I really didn't have girlfriends because I was a chubby kid. But apparently there was some type of unspoken list that the girls kept about guys who were good in bed. So apparently I was on that list, because people who literally like kind of had no interest in me all of a sudden started coming around and being amorous. And one of the girls was like, I would, I've never done it, but I would like to give you a blowjob. And I'm like, sure. Because what are you going to say? Nah, I don't like to get my dick sucked. Sorry. No, that's just, ooh, icky. Girls, get away.
All right, you can suck my dick, but you're not allowed to kiss me afterwards.
Bring a bottle of Scope and we'll talk.
Right. I want my dick to be minty fresh.
But I kid you not, it was her first blowjob. Do you know how I know? She started blowing into my dick. She literally wrapped her lips around the head of my cock like she was going to play an instrument. And I swear to God, the moment that she started blowing, it felt like my balls inflated. And I pulled my mouth out, or I pulled her mouth off of me, and it was like it was like a cork popping. And I was like, no, blow job. You suck it. And then she kind of looked at me confused, and she's like, oh, I don't think I'd like that.
Oh God.
I at least I mean, she was tuning up my cock.
She was trying to blow it up because that's probably how she figured it got hard.
She was gonna John Philip Sousa my penis. Well, no, I mean it was all already hard, but I mean, what was she trying to inflate it to make it bigger? That balloon theory does not work on penises.
See, at least for me, like, I could say this. First time I ever gave a blowjob, I never did that.
Well, had you seen a porno before then?
Oh yeah. Oh, lots. We literally used to have porno parties.
Well, there you go. I mean, I don't think this chick had ever seen a porno in her whole life. She just apparently only ever heard the phrase blowjob.
Well,
Uh,
even so, like the pornos that we used to watch, like he's if the way that you watch them, like there's no real technique use. It's just the mouth goes on and it's shove in, shove out. Like that was about it. Like and my
well,
my boyfriend at that my he was my very first boyfriend. Um, he coached me through, so that really did help. He's just like just pretend like, just you just kind of like gotta lick it slow like a lollipop. I'm like, oh, I just don't do the and he's like, no, no, that's, I mean, you can try if you want, but and so I gave it a try, and I did something right, because then all of a sudden I'm punching him because he's a he that was my I had a really great complexion. We'll put it that way. I had a really great complexion because I must have done something right.
yay! Now,
Actually, it wasn't entirely all over. You try to get it into my mouth, and at that point, no, I was a quitter. I definitely, like, I like, he laid back all happy, and I'm just like, oh, I did a good job. I'm just gonna go over here now. Because, like, I don't want to swallow this. What if I get pregnant? Like, it was so fucking I was so fucking retarded. You have no idea. But I learned real fast. I learned.
well, uh, uh, oh man, I would say that I was well into sex before fucking before I ever tried to eat pussy, and there was one girl that I was uh, I was really enamored with,
Hmm.
and she agreed to sleep with me, and I kind of had stage fright. So I'm like, you know what? I'll play this off. I'll just go down on her. So I get down between her legs. I do like the thigh kissing thing and all that stuff. And then when I get to her pussy, it's like, um, well, how can I explain my technique? Um, it was kind of like poking a finger into a pie. I just kept poking my tongue in. I mean, I wasn't licking anything, and after about 5 or 10 minutes of it, she finally just kind of sighed, and I just had to look up, and I was like, "I'm doing it wrong, aren't I?" And she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Well," and I explained the reason why I was at half mast, and she's like, "Oh well, I can fix that," and she did, and so we just fucked, and I was like, "Well, later on down the line, can you show me how to do this?" Because if you looked at the porns back then, it was like they did pussy licking like they did tongue kissing, where, like, their mouths weren't even close to each other, but their tongues were as far out as possible, flicking against each other's tongues.
Yeah.
So that was not a good guideline. Porno movies sucked. I mean, if a woman wanted to go somewhere and, well, or a guy, if you're leaning that way, wanted to go and figure out how to suck a dick, then porno was the place for you to go to learn, and learn discreetly. If you want to learn how to eat pussy, good luck. Uh, so and it's kind of funny because the week after I was dropping something off for for my mom at one of her friends' houses, and I had kind of been seeing her daughter on the side. And um, she shows up, answers the door in a robe, and then asked me to come on in. So I came in for just a minute. I was asked if her daughter was there, and she's like, "Well, no, she's not." And she turns back around, and the robe had not been tied tightly. And let's say there was a little spillage. So uh, she essentially convinced me to fuck her, and she was actually the one who taught me how to eat pussy. And I was thankful for it. But I
Oh,
never got the chance to go back down on that other girl.
yeah.
I never got the chance to share the skills that I had learned. That I had found the amazing clitortis.
My very first boyfriend, he that was definitely one thing. Like when I was younger, that was probably one of my favorite things because he knew how to do things and he knew how to listen. And I'm just like, no, not like, no, no, oh, right there, and like, like tap on his head, like, yep, yep, you're doing good, good job, just like that, like. That was definitely a skill he possessed was he knew how to listen, and so he figured out real fast exactly what I needed, and he delivered in that respect.
I could
Uh
I could see him I could see him going down, you petting the top of his head, going, "Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?"
um and he needed to learn how to deliver with his mouth because uh I didn't know this at the time until I gotten with my second boyfriend and wasn't with my first anymore. But but eh, yeah, he didn't know how to do shit with his dick. He didn't, and it was cute too. In fact, one fun little story. He wasn't feeling well, and so I'd gone over to go and like baby him. Like I walked to his house, which was a good, well, like I don't know how far away it was, but it was a good distance away. But I walked all the way to his house and I made him some chicken noodle soup and I brought him Sprite and he was, you know, he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm like, when's the last time you've had a shower?" He's like, "I can't stand really." I'm like, "Okay." And I go and get a bath set up. I'm like, "All right, bath's all ready, and it's all nice and set for you and I'll take care of you and I'm gonna be so good and blah 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 blah." And then he gets in the bathtub and I'd never actually looked at his penis at this point because this was before I'd blown him. And so like he's just I mean I'd had it inside of me but I never looked. And
Flying blind.
yep, basically. And then like he lays down in the tub and I like, "Oh, here, let me wipe you down, let me wash you down, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh, look at it. It's so cute. Hi there, little guy." And so yeah,
Did you
I did that.
did you actually say hi there, little guy?
Yes.
Oh my god.
He was the size of my pinky knuckle.
Oh no.
Now, mind you, he did grow, not by much.
Oh my.
Yeah. So
Well,
I did not know that that was small though. I was just like I've heard of the term, you know, I'm a grower, not a shower. I'd heard of that term before. Like, "Oh, well, he's just a grower and look at him, he's so cute." And then he grew from pinky knuckle to, I mean, let's just say I he could fit into my mouth without hitting my uvula.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ah,
Like that's maybe the length of like my pointer finger, maybe my middle finger.
And good morning, Victory. Yep, you
Hi,
walked in on
Victory.
it.
Hello, Victory. But yeah,
Uh,
it was so cute. And I was 16. How am I supposed to know that's a faux pas? Not only was I A 16 and B pretty fucking sheltered, but this was my like he was basically like one of my first in almost everything.
well, let me ask you this: have you ever measured a guy's dick?
Oh yeah, every single one.
Why do you people do that?
No, I don't know. I just get curious, and then on top of that, I like to be like, don't you okay. The the main one that I told him I am going to measure your fucking dick was my fourth boyfriend. My really bad ex actually. But the reason why was because like we'd been kind of seeing each other and he'd been wooing me for a while and all that jazz, and finally we decided to get down to brass tacks, and he's like, all right, so before we start, I'm just gonna warn you, I'm small. And I'm just like, it's okay, because at this point I'm just like, we'll see how small you are, because I've kind of felt a little bump from beneath your jeans against my bum. Um so I'm on his bed and I'm stripped down and I'm waiting, and then what would you say is the perfect size? Michael, honestly, I have well, let me finish this and I'll answer your question. But he dropped trowel and my jaw drops. And he's like, I know it's small. And I yell at him and I'm like, that's not fucking small. What the fuck is that thing? And so I told him, like, he's like, no, this is small. I'm like, you're shitting me right now. Like, this is bullshit. And I'm like, how am I supposed to fit that thing in here? And he's like, well, we can try. I'm like, well, shit, fuck it. You know what? I'm already here. I'm already naked. There were promises made. You're gonna go slow though. And and I gave it the try, and then I told him, we're measuring your dick. And he's like, well, no, don't do that. I'm like, no, this thing is getting measured. He's like, well, I'm not even hard anymore. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. He was 12 fucking inches.
Oh, wait a minute.
And I nicknamed him, I wound up nicknaming him $5. But he told me he was small. And I'm like, I've had small before.
Yeah, 12 inches is not small. Now,
No, it's not.
if
So I
it,
want to
if it
know
was
whose
thin,
dicks he's been comparing them to.
if it was like thin like a marker, then
It was
yeah.
not. It
Um,
wasn't thin like a marker either. It was um I could put my fingers around it and almost touch my middle finger to my thumb with like half an inch of space. Maybe a little less than that of space, but like my middle finger and my thumb either just barely touched if I gripped it tight enough, or yeah, he was not small in any respect.
wow, yeah. I've only ever had mine measured once, but I've had requests, and I I don't know what crazy psycho thing, but I mean, I think every woman, with the exception of my current wife, has wanted to measure my dick, and I'm like, no, here, it's like, do I need to make like a little certification card? I've had it measured once. It's 6.5. Leave me the fuck alone. If you don't like how I'm using it, that's a different matter.
Hmm.
But
Oh, that actually, if you don't mind, Doc, that leads me back to Michael's question.
mm-hmm.
What would I say is the perfect size? Well, I'm actually a very firm believer that size does not matter because I've had 12 fucking inches in me. God fucking damn. Like thinking about it still fucking hurts. Um, but I've had big, I've had uh average, and I've had a guy who, well, what's it? One of my friends nicknamed Sprinkles because if you wanted to do a line of Coke off his dick, it would just be a sprinkle of Coke. I called him Vienna sausage because it was about the same thing, but Vienna motherfucking sausage rocked my goddamn world. Like, hot damn. And at this point, I'm just like, no foreplay. Don't use your fingers on me. Don't use your mouth on me. I just want dick and pound the fuck out of me. And boy, did he. And that's when he figured out, hey, you're really flexible. I'm like, I know. Now bend me every which way till Sunday and fuck the ever loving shit out of me. And he did, and it was amazing. And he, again, Vienna sausage, sprinkle, just a sprinkle of Coke. That's the line you could do. It was so I'm a firm believer in size does not matter.
Yeah, I think really it's about skill. I mean,
Yeah.
what you can do with it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, who hangs out with Andy Worski? I don't hang out with Andy Worski. I yelled at him last night on the Trippy Cast, but
I
it was
mean,
so funny.
if I hadn't heard that name so fucking often since I'd started, I would go with what I used to originally always say, which was who?
Mm.
Because as far as I'm concerned, it's just who? Oh, the guy who's beefing with I don't know, pick a YouTuber, any YouTuber, and that's who he's beefing with now.
Yeah, it's so funny. Uh, Joker and I've been talking quite a bit behind the scenes ever since he came up, um, and goddamn, if we haven't had a lot of good laughs, but he's got complete clarity in this one point. It's like, okay, shit starts, it goes out around the community, it gets viral, and then you know that it's on its last legs once it shows up around Cog or Ellington. And I'm like, damn, that is accurate. Because when shit's completely played out, then yeah, it usually ends up there, and then it's done, it's dead. And I'm like, well, the shit right now that's being started, or that somebody's trying to actually start, um, it's fucking already dead, and I don't even think it's going to get to Cog or anyone else for that matter, or Ellington. I was sad to say though, he was the first guy that I had to kick out of my Discord. Um, just because there was all that fuckery going on with Morning Decay and the Broski benefit and everything like that, and I invited him in off a word from somebody else. But when he started doing all that shit, I'm like, dude, you know, nothing against you, but I gotta bounce you because you're involved in some severe fuckery. And you know, you've been in my Discord. There's just a lot of good time Charlies in there, guys who love to fuck around, and it's kind of a locker room attitude. People breaking each other's balls, and that's completely fine. That to me is not fuckery. But you know, when you start throwing accusations, like I mean, they even tried to rig up and frame Andy for being a pedophile and talking to a 14-year-old girl when the actual DMs, everything was fucking faked. I mean, they figured out how to hack. What was it? God damn it's another social media platform. Uh, and it wasn't Grinder and it wasn't Tinder. Um,
Okay, Cupid.
no,
Plenty of fish.
no, it is similar to a Twitter because he had a conversation with her.
I don't know. I don't know dating app things.
He had a fake conversation with her, and uh, people were saying, "Oh, well, there's maybe Snapchat, maybe Gab. I don't know." Um, but people were like, "Oh, well, there's no way that they would ever be able to fake a conversation." Blah blah blah. This and that. Some guy comes back 10 minutes later and hands off well, maybe it was like 15, 20 minutes later. He hands off a complete conversation that he made from scratch that looks completely legit. And he didn't do any photoshopping to it. He hacked the program. He actually hacked the program and created it. Was it Instagram, Geo? Well, 16 or 14. That's still jailbait.
Well, I don't know all the details. I don't have all the facts, and I don't know. Like, from one side, I was hearing that it was faked and it was hacked. From another side, I'm hearing that no, it was real, but the thing was, like, Andy tried to back out of the conversation when he figured out her age. And from yet another side is no, this was all real. And
Well, Geo, if I was on Snapchat or Instagram, I'd delete those fuckers too. Um, give them less ammunition, less availability to at you. Because
yeah,
I mean, Worski at one time was up to what was it like having like 10,000 people watching him in his chat, and people trying to reach out and get a hold of him, and they find different methods to do that. Yeah, you're gonna fucking lose track really quick. So a conversation that you thought that was mundane or just just silly flapping head language, that kind of shit can be turned against you because they can find what your filter is, and then they can build a mock-up and fuck you that way. So
um,
you know
all I know is I don't have all the facts. I don't know all the facts, and I'm not involved, so I'm cool.
yeah, I think it's a case of Nunya. I mean,
Mhm.
they're talking about the fight and everything, and I have said to both Tonka and Andy now, since last night, because they were talking about, well, who do you think's going to win the fight? And I was like, well, I have been from the start in one camp, and I've never changed, and that is camp. This ain't gonna fucking happen. So you guys are not going to be fighting IRL. And Andy's like, I want to. I really want to. And I was like, yeah, that's all fine and well. But, there's going to be some little itty bitty caveat that one or the other is going to find a way to worm out of, so the fight doesn't actually happen. And I will admit it right now. I will legit watch it if they actually do square up. If Tonka and Worski actually do go to fight, I will watch it. I have no qualms about being a voyeur at that point, because what's going to happen if an actual physical fight happens, it's going to be almost the literal destruction of one career. And it's going to be a minor blip on the radar for the winner. And they're just going to keep going around and around until somebody actually does throw the first punch. Somebody beats the shit out of somebody else. That person's destroyed. And honestly, if the neck injury isn't a thing with Tonka, if they put a gun to my head and said pick which one, I would probably still pick Tonka. Because I mean Andy's scrappy, but I've seen a couple things BTS with Tonka, and if he's not actually injured, he's gonna mop the floor with Andy.
Well, what's the fighting style supposed to be? And what are their natural fighting styles? What are they weak against? What are their strengths? Like
Um,
that's the only way I would weigh it. In all honesty, um, that's the only way I would ever weigh it. But the thing is, like, I don't know. I don't care.
yeah, I mean, I'll be there to watch it, but really, sincerely, now that they're fighting, and Andy also pulled this. He starts his show now when Tonka starts his show, so he's in direct competition with him,
Yeah.
and that's doing nothing but bleeding subs at that point. Because you're literally saying you need to make a choice. Now, I technically can listen to two streams at once. That's another one of my useful skills. Um,
If I got my laptop to work well enough, I can too.
yeah, I've double tabbed it and pulled it up, but I mean, Worski just went into direct conflict with him at that point. It he's stubborn. It's one of those fuck you, no fuck you, and that's essentially what he's running with.
I don't know.
Holy shit!
Considering how some of the fans can be, and I try not to, but like unless I've interacted with them, like I and I don't I don't listen to either of their streams, but unless I've like interacted with them in some way, shape, or form and gotten the chance to like talk to them myself, um, I don't know who they are. I don't know what they're about. I see what your fans are about, and eh, I'm not really. I don't really care.
I might be bit too spurgy for you.
Yeah, just when it comes to the fans, I don't know how they are, but they're fans in and of themselves, too spurgy or too bloodthirsty. I think is the main thing. Like they're drama hounds from what I can tell. And again, hashtag not all, but this is just from my own personal experiences.
Well, and the direct result of Andy streaming against Tonka at the same time, uh, I don't watch either one of them now. Uh, I want to be informed when the fight actually happens. If it happens, it probably will not happen, but it's supposed to go off on January 19th, and I do not see it being pulled off, and I definitely don't want to hear Tonka and Failure and Warski and Geek Thulu, basically having fights, and they're legit sniping each other's streams. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, why don't you guys just have it out and be done with it? And he's like, I'll fly down to Florida right now. I'll buy a ticket right now. I'll meet you anywhere you want to be. Okay, yeah, I get it, but still, um, yeah, yeah, Michael, um, I kind of get where you're coming from on that. Um, that it has a feel like it's been manufactured for views. Um, I can
That's
kind of
possible.
agree on that. I honestly have I've got my own personal stories about it, and uh, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but we don't need to go into those.
yeah. I mean, it's the whole damn thing. It could be a publicity stunt, definitely. I personally have not ruled that out, but I'm still leaning towards the. There's going to be something that happens, something small, but an obstacle that is going to make them uh, call the fight off, one or the other. Oi,
Well, it doesn't matter to me either way. Honestly, like if it happened, all I'm aware of is I know it's not going to be streamed live, but it was being claimed that it's going to be broadcasted.
yeah,
Um,
oh yeah,
eventually.
yeah.
So, I mean,
And the fight promoter, because honestly, I think it shocked both sides when Tara LaRosa, the MMA fighter who's
hmm
been cordial with Tonka, talking about, yeah, we need to get a venue, we have to get a promoter, blah blah blah. She's like, okay. Um, she's like, I gotta go, but I'll be back. And she came back on within like 10 or 15 minutes later and said, okay, it's booked. I got your promoter set up, and here's the date where his actual, because he's actually running an IPPV on the internet on the January 19th date. He really couldn't give a shit about Worski or Tonka, um, but he does actually want all the streaming rights to it.
yeah. Now, here's a good question
Mm-hmm.
because I've heard this is a thing that does happen. Are either of them going to get paid for showing up?
Um,
Or
well, we've been pushing, um, uh, and this is a brilliant idea that if they're really serious about this, they're going to put up the purse and do a winner take all. Like Andy kicks in 500, Tonka kicks in 500. The winner walks away with a sweet K.
yeah, but traveling expenses and shit too.
No, that's something that they have to take care of because initially Andy was like, well, fuck this. If I'm going down here, then I'm not necessarily saying that I need to get paid, but I do, I do think that accommodations should be provided.
Mm-hmm. And but the thing is, who offered the fight?
Who started it first? Um,
Not who started it first. Just said, I'll fight you in real life. Who's the one? I've heard Tonka's the one who usually does that, but at the same time, if Andy accepted, um, unless he says, "Fuck it, you pay for me to fly down there, and you buy my hotel room, I'll do it, and we'll fight." Unless he said something like that, it'd be on it'd be on themselves to travel to the uh designated area.
yeah,
Now,
John Doe,
if
because the promoter is one of your run of the mill promoters. Yeah, he put. I've got the feeling. I don't have the proof, but I've got the feeling that he put that fight on the card because Tara La Rosa came to him and asked him.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why he put it on. He could not give a shit about this fight, but he does want he does want streaming rights on it.
Geo saying Andy challenged. All right. Now, do you know the context in which Andy challenged? Like, you did he say anything along the lines of "You buy my ticket, and I'll get out there"?
Initially, it was just, come on, let's fight. And then actually, Andy got to thinking about it and was talking about, well, he'd need this much money to get down there. And I think it was Failure who suggested to him just to run a GoFundMe for the airfare, for the travel and lodgings.
Well, yeah, no, but here's the thing. If Andy said, "Let's fight," and then Tonka said, "All right, I accept," um, and there was no discussion whatsoever about, well, you have to pay for my plane ticket if you want this fight to happen. No, challenge was laid out by you. You never made any specifications of, you know, you find a way to get me out there. And and same thing goes with Tonka. If Tonka never said, "Well, you find a way to get me out there. You make sure I have accommodations," then guess what? Y'all both fucking be men, take responsibility. This is what you said. This is you both agreed to this. You didn't make any further specifications or try and lay anything else. You agreed to you had already agreed. And if you wanna make addendums and shit like that, well, guess what? I guess if you guys want, you can go ahead and try, um, and see how that goes. You can try and go ahead and get some shit signed and notarized, and get yourself some legal documentation. But right now, verbally, it's on you.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear them cutting promos on each other every single day, sniping each other's streams, going, "Oh, what's he saying about me now?" That kind of shit. I'm done. That's playground. That's why I'm not watching either one of them. I mean, really, the only one I try to catch up with, um, well, there's two that run daily, and that's either Blackout by Dawn or the Morning Decay.
The main one that I always try and catch daily is the IRS.
Oh, that weird show that's on really really late at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the one that, like, I don't know, a bunch of people who can't sleep for shit listen to.
Yeah, well, I like the chick on there, but that old guy, Jesus, she could find
Ah,
somebody better to stream with.
see, for me, like, I think that the chick's a cunt. Yeah.
Nah, nah, we like her, and I'm sure somebody in the chat has already started a Rule 34 for her.
Nah, I doubt that. Like, there's no Rule 34.
You don't think somebody out there would make cadunt porn?
Nah,
Well, would you like them to?
I don't care either way. I'd be flattered. I'd be like, "Aw, thanks."
I mean,
Like, that's cool. Like, oh, you drew me, like, pretzeled up like nobody's been. Oh, that's cool. Like, the closest I have is from Fading Dark. She made the cadunt sitting on anti-hero's back while he had a ball gag.
oh yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, that's the closest to a Rule 34 that I know is out there. So that one was pretty cool. I have that saved. Like, I had to.
See, uh, my favorite thing to do, well, one of my favorite things on the interwebs, uh, is uh, uh, make memes and kind of push them as far as I think I can get away with them.
Mm-hmm.
And the one person that I guess that I have heat with is Brandon um, from ProWrestlingTees.com, because he's got a show called Marking Out, where, of course, they talk about wrestling. And I've listened to it a couple times, but anytime he comes over on this side of the hood, um, I take the opportunity to bust his balls. And one night, it was a late night with Broski. Everybody started talking about the kind of tits that they liked. So I went onto the magical interwebs, found the tits that they liked, that they were talking about, and I proceeded to Photoshop their heads on top of said titties.
Nice.
And I did everybody. I did everybody who was in that stream. I'm pretty good when it comes to doing quick composites, and I put Brandon's masked luchador head on this one chick who was doing a titty flash, and he's like, "That's not very funny," and I'm like, "Okay, well here, let me do this," and I took the Marking Out logo and made them like pasties on her nipples. And he's like, "That's not funny either, man. I'm trying to grow a brand." And I knew a little bit about Brandon, but I had no idea if this was autism or he was just trying to bust my balls. So I went with the latter. And I continued. I found this one black drag queen
Mm-hmm.
who was throwing her hands up like a hallelujah. And then I put the link to Pro Wrestling Tees across the bottom of him. He's like, "That's stupid. I don't like that one." And I was like, "Well, wait. I think I've got a better one for you." And I found a picture. Of course, I put the Marking Out, Pro Wrestling Tees, markingout.com, whatever the fuck it is, the slashes. I put it out. I never put it on the Twatters, but I put it in late night with Broski, and it's just a picture of kind of a medium shot of one guy just severely pounding another guy in the ass. I mean, just hardcore butt fucking. And he actually wrote me. He's like, "I'm serious, man. You got to stop this. You can't do this anymore. I'm trying to grow a business here." And up until that point, I didn't know. I didn't know that it was actually serious, because I'm thinking, he runs with a crew that busts each other's balls all the time. So I don't know if it was an outsider that he didn't want me to do that, or he was truly offended, or he was joking me. But I found out that he was really severely offended by it. Now, I tell you what, when I actually made it, I was in the stream at the time, and as soon as I found that picture, and put the Pro Wrestling Tees link underneath it, I was laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing like a retarded school kid who had just seen the sun. It was, and people are like, "Oh God, what's Doc doing?" And if it makes me laugh, then it's worthwhile to me. If it's not politically correct, then even more so. But I swear to God, if I still have that, I wonder if I do still have that gift. I don't know if I do. If I still have that gift, I'll send it over to you via de Twatters, because I don't want to post it out. Because, I mean, it is like maximum ass ramming.
I'm I'm a little afraid to be honest. Maximum ass ramming. Just gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the guy catching's just, you know, just swinging in the breeze, and that other guy's just pounding. And god damn, I mean, once I was giggling like a mad bastard as I was typing the overlay graphic on it, and they're just like, "What the fuck is he doing over there?" And I couldn't help it. I was almost to tears that night. That I thought it was so goddamn funny. And yeah, apparently he does not appreciate my brand of trolling. But
No.
well, that's how I got started anyway. Because I've been on Twitter since like 2011, and I really didn't start interacting with anything until 2017. And then I just started cranking memes. I wanted to make sure that I had at least a meme a day, or at least the same number of memes that are in a year. So I broke that. I mean, fuck, we're in November now, so I would have 2 months left. I have like over 400 memes that I've done. So I can rest and not even have to do one goddamn meme until the start of next year. And no, I'm not going to smoke that cigarette. For the rest of the time, it will be vaping. But I'm trying to read you guys, John, Geo, and Victory, but my brain is starting to splooge at this point. Oh, and by the way, can I just mention one thing? Windows 10 sucks. I fucking hate Windows 10. I don't even think anybody that's autistic would be like, "Ooh, gosh, this is the best thing I've ever seen." I mean, the little pop-up windows and all that bullshit. I'm just like, I just want a computer that I can manipulate to best effect, and this isn't it. Oh, crap. I'm getting some dead air. Damn it.
Oh, sorry.
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr. Hey, my throat's too dry, or I'd do the Wookiee. Oh, no, I can't do it. I don't have any phlegm. That was just a gargle. There we go. But not as good as Hex's Wookiee sounds last night. I wonder if Hex is still in the chat. I wonder if he actually went back and listened.
Maybe. He may have fallen asleep right now, so.
Let's just say, chat, there was a lot of denial going on post show.
Yeah. Yeah, he does not want to believe that he fell asleep. He heard everything.
Yeah. I heard that story. Oh, and when we were reading Cadunt stories, yeah, I heard those too. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't because we used your snores as screams.
And I even sang a little song to his snores.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean he won't ever be invited on
Oh
again.
no. Now that he's got a good mic, you know?
Yeah, as long as he'll stay close to it, for God's sake.
I mean, if he falls asleep, he falls asleep.
Let's see. Geek wanted to fight Tonka, to which Tonka responded, "I'll fight Geek after I fight Andy. Geek alone is not worth it." Yeah, I heard that one. I'm like, I don't know what, and this is the perfect word for it. What shenanigans are going on? But I know there's also fuckery afoot, and like I said, I'm camped out with fucking team. This ain't gonna happen.
I mean, I'm not. I already know that either way, I'll wind up hearing about it and bite from somebody, whether it happens or doesn't. And if it does happen, whoever wins, like I'll hear about it, because there's no way. Again, the fans.
Yeah.
Gio wants to know, what about YouTube censoring last night?
What? Who
Um,
who the hell did they censor?
or striking. Oh, I think I actually heard something about this one too. Um, I believe, I do believe, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but Killstream got shut down as well as somebody else.
I heard that people were attacking heel turn. uh, yeah, yeah. It's okay. Alex says that they
Hi.
got Ralph.
Yeah, hi Alex.
Um, but yeah, I mean, and I've talked behind the scenes with people who have given me information about both camps. Um,
Killstream, Ben Zidane, and others. Red Ice. Huh.
wow, they took down both of them in the same night. That's shit.
For hate speech was what I had heard. And the thing that seems to be connect was that they were all talking about a similar subject or a similar group or a similar person or something like that.
Wow, wasn't Matt?
No, no.
Monday Matt
Otherwise,
um, was the true culprit for a lot of
Flag
that
Day
shit.
Matt.
Yeah. Monday Matt, when they were talking about him, and he'd been doing it for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard all about Flag Day Matt.
Huh. That is weird, wild stuff.
That's absolutely crazy.
The WSJ? What?
What's the WSJ?
Um, we suck Jamaicans?
Ugh. Kinky. Somebody clip that?
I don't know.
No. I'm saying somebody clip. Wall Street Journal talking about Wall Street Journal, and then they got flagged for hate speech.
Well,
Now
and
I'm
it's funny
really
because
confused.
Ralph walked into the interview knowing that they were going to twist it. and he still did it. And I was talking behind the scenes with somebody, and it's just like, uh, you know, if, if you see the lights and hear the horn honk of the semi truck before it comes around the fucking corner, and you still stand there, then you get what you get. I
Can't
mean, that's,
always get what you want.
yeah. I mean, they knew it was going to be a hit piece, and they still went along with it.
Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. People do things all the time.
Cadunt, my dear, we've been going for 3.5 hours.
Oh, have we?
Yeah,
I'm still awake. Are you feeling the fade?
I am. I'm not kidding you when I say my brain's mush. But I will say this: the worst thing in the world is today when I was dicking around and grabbing links and changing thumbnails. I listened to the very first interview that I did by myself with Aiden Paladin,
Hmm.
and then I listened to the one with Sean Cunningham, and uh, there are kind of like three broadcasting rules that I live by. One of them's smile and dial, because you can hear someone smiling.
Hmm.
Dead air does not exist. And then the one I've been breaking like a son of a bitch is no ums, no uhs, no exceptions. And if you listen from the first show to the most current show, I am umming and uhing like a son of a bitch. And it's driving me insane.
Well, don't beat yourself up too much over it, Doc. You can't help it.
Uh,
You were really sober that night.
yeah, I mean, well, I, I was having sips on both of those shows, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, but I get lubricated, but I don't get drunk
Hmm.
because last thing I need is to be sloppy drunk and hit the floor and lay there like a dead body waiting to be chalk outlined.
Yeah. Well, let me drink this coffee and calm my nerves because but we can go ahead and wind down. Yeah. Get to closing time.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and throw this up. Um, that is the schedule for November, ladies and gentlemen. And we got some good guests coming on. We've got B movie director Jim Wynorski, adult, legendary adult film actress Ginger Lynn, the boys from Random Encounters, and the owner operator of the largest horror podcast out there right now, the No Sleep Podcast. And that the shit that's coming down the pike. Um, yeah, I think the Ginger Lynn is definitely going to be interesting. And since I'm not really into the sensationalist part of reporting or interviews, I think no, I don't know if that would be the case, but I'm starting to lose track of what I'm talking about. I'm actually getting nappy, and I refuse to fall asleep on my own stream.
Yeah, no. So let's just close it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. That's the deal for November. Please feel free to stop by. My links are in the description. It's kind of redundant for me to say that because you're here on the channel, so you have the availability to hit that little sub button. and ring that there bell. But yes, I do my gig every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do also there might be another special edition coming up, but anybody who's subbed to me, anybody who's following me on Twitter, I will keep you abreast of the subject. Oh, and I do have a, a, a sweet ass Streamlabs set up now.
Yeah,
If you want to throw ducats that way, links down there too.
you really should. You should throw ducats to the dock. Ah, they'd be dockets.
I like that. Um, it's not as cool as Coach Coin, but you know I'll take it. Um, Also, if you're looking for the finest Mr. Mediger bootleg merchandise, then look no further than Doc Griffin's Tea Public Store. And so, what are you up to, Kadan?
Me? I'm I'm on I'm on Doc Griffin. I'm also here sometimes every Wednesday. If not there, then I'm also right about here. Doc Dollars. Nicholas says Doc Dollars.
I will let the chat name it. Um, I will make it completely up to them. Now, if I can get the goddamn tip jar working, um, it drops in pills and little dock heads. But I do actually well, here.
I would
I
almost just change the pills to nothing but Doc heads, no matter what's dropped in. Like,
Well, it's funny too because when the dock heads hit, they fucking they must be made of some type of rubber substance because those little son of a bitches will just jump right out. Um, let's see where it's at.
but
Oh,
yeah,
there it is.
if you guys want, um, those are the two channels that you might catch me on. Um, actually, there's one more channel
And
that
yeah, Nicholas, if you want to look on the Twatters, um, I had a thing about doing money with my face on it. Not as cool as Betty White's booty, but
but yeah, and the doc did a thing. I don't know why, but there's a link to my my Twitters in the description, right beneath his amazing T Public Store link. But on my main page of my Twitter page, you'll see a bunch of highlighted names at the top, and I suggest you go and click and follow every single one of them.
yeah, I'll be honest with you. One night, um, do you have a Streamlabs?
Me? No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one night you're gonna have to set up a Streamlabs, and then we can prove that you will get more donations than I will.
Only because like I'll promise shit like tits and not even like much tits. I'll just be like, I'll flash my cleavage for some money. Like, fuck it, why not? You know, like there you go. Who wants to see me and my bra today? Ding. You know, like it'll be some stupid bullshit like that. Like that's it. I'm eh, I'm not gonna get a Streamlabs. I already have a PayPal and I don't even have that completely set up because I started regretting it. And hi, Jolly Rogers. We're winding down now, and we apologize and we adore you and thank you guys for joining. Doc needs to go and
And and
get.
Jolly Rogers needs to get his set up so we can get him on some night.
I know, right? Like, come on, Jolly.
Um, well, the sad thing is that Joker retired. Um, Shakes the Dono Clown.
Oh,
Yeah, he put him down. Although I I really don't think that Shakes is down for the count either. I got a feeling he might crop up again. But yeah,
if I were to ever get a rig set up where I could do like OBS, I'm making like my instead of a glass. I believe in you, Alex. No worries. But I'm gonna instead of a glass, like where if somebody donates, like drops a thingy in there, I'm just gonna get tits, and it'll be called my tits jar.
little like clip art nipplies.
Not nipplies, the no nipples, just like cleavage in a corset,
Oh,
because
okay.
then this way it'd be like, oh, I've never I didn't leave Ren Fair. I'm still getting money shoved between my tits.
And wow, hey, this is a short list that I didn't have to write down this evening
Mm-mm.
because our one stop by was Big Fat Brian.
And
What?
Killing Joke.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's how fried that my brain is.
Yeah.
Sorry, brother. Um, yeah, I don't know what happened, but it legit. It's like somebody flipped a fucking switch, and I haven't, I haven't taken any medication for over a fucking year, and I'm dizzy and shit. It's so weird. It's almost like a
Doc,
buzz.
Doc, it's time to end the stream and get some sleep. Good night, everybody.
I certainly will. And here's the outro. Everybody, please do have a wonderful rest of your day. Those of you who are going to work, those of you who are going to play, hopefully it's going to be productive, creative, and fun for you. But well, as for me, I'm going to bed, fuckers. Night.
Bye.